My name's Jeff.
Full name?
Jeff Hope.
Jeff Hope. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. You're gonna walk out that door, you're gonna get hit by a Twitch axe.
Good name. Strong.
Yes, fits well in the law. Occupation?
Baker extraordinaire. Don't miss that part.
Baker.
Extraordinaire.
Baker.
Extraordinaire.
Do this all
Sir,
day.
you're missing the best parts.
Hello, welcome along to episode 2 of chapter 2 of Evil Sogravia. Thank you very much for the raid, Steve. Welcome on in. For those of you who don't know me, you clearly don't turn up to Steve's channel. I'm Eleanor. We do a whole lot of D&D and a bit of other stuff. If you want to catch up on the previous episodes, you can find our YouTube here. Feel free to drop in. And with no further ado, playing with me today, I have Kira.
Hello, my name is Kira, and I will be playing Luvon, the blade-singing Shadowfell operative that will pretty much bring Sogravia to the seat in the table of Ravenesca.
Beautiful. I have Moon.
Hello, I'm playing Torian Bloodscorn, currently Cassandra, a great old one warlock.
I have Lavi.
Hello, I'm playing Losk, the Warlock College of Lore Board.
I have Argo.
I play Avis, the Twilight Cleric, currently disguised as Jeff.
I forgot.
I'm gonna kill you.
I forgot.
I'm gonna kill you. Your character dies today. And I have Rico on US Player. Welcome on in.
Hey, I'm playing Resnick, the Echo Knight fighter, currently inhabiting the body of Pertzo, the tiefling.
Okay. And if anybody in chat wants to let me know if the music balance is alright for you guys, that would be great. So, we left off in Carthan, where you recently faked the death of the half-hand by using Samisk rather brutally. And from that point... so I should mention, Samisk is an NPC. He'll be voiced by me and played by Kira. Yes, so Samisk fakes his own death so that you could get the bounty from the half-hand. And although you have pressing business in Jastern, according to Rocker's Sunderdown, you also wish to investigate the Kneecappers, a group of bandits just outside of Carthan who seem to only be stealing from people of evil will, or at least greedy will. I believe the party had decided to talk to them. So, the stage is yours. It's currently... Sorry, I should just let you know. It is currently 9:30 p.m. and you are at the One-Armed Knight. If you wish to rest, we will start in the morning. If you wish to make some late-night visits, we will start there.
My character sheet isn't loading.
Oh, dear. Alright, for now I will roll for you, or you could... Well, I'll get you to roll, and then I will tell you your modifiers. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Oh dear. As you enter the bar... Hold on, I seem to have left the dice the other side of the room. The dice are on a timer, and Alora beat you to it. Revenge is sweet. Resnick, as you entered into the tavern, you were a little taller than you thought you were. You're not so used to this body. And you headbutted the doorframe, and you took 3 points of piercing damage from a sticking out nail.
That's you're quite all right.
Didn't see that.
Did it hurt so much?
Okay. Well, we have a few things to get done. We should see the Kneecappers and find time to make our way to Jastern. I don't suppose we want to wait any longer. We should go ahead and do this as soon as we can and rest on the way.
What time of day is it again?
9:30 in the evening.
Okay. Well, Losk has a bedtime. So if we
Okay,
could do
Losk.
that in the morning.
Sure,
That would
we can
be
do that in the
cool.
morning.
All
Maybe
right.
it's better to catch them in the morning. They won't be so alert. But they're usually awake during the rest of the day. Actually, they were awake during the day when we were on the way.
They would
Yeah.
probably
So-
work during the day, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Unless Lost can sleep through the entire interaction and trust you guys to make really good charisma checks.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Well, other
Good
than
at that.
Torian. Torian can do that, actually.
That won't happen. Unless, yeah, Torian probably could.
Anyway, so I actually want to visit Slink's Paradise real quick.
Okay, very good. You will find them open 24 hours a day. Outside is not your classic halfling today. It's a little late for him, or early, depending on which way you look at it. He's off doing some business. So in the meantime, what you have is one short half-elf. She is female, and she's sat outside, and she's rolling a small ball of blue magic round in her hand. Can I just confirm, Luvon, your current undercover name is Ephraim? Is that right?
Ephraim, yes.
Okay, I'm just putting these in brackets so that other people understand when you guys refer to each other as names that are not on the screen. Torian, you're Cassandra.
Yes.
Okay, and lastly, Avis is Joyf, yes? Joyf.
That is my name.
Oh, I have it down as Strix, that's really weird. Alright, okay. So with your code names in brackets, Losk, of course, using all the code names as the Changeling Bard. So as you arrive at Slink's Paradise and you see the small short half-elf outside, she looks up. Password!
Nightshade.
Head on in!
Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna head on in. Is there anybody there who is like the person for information?
No, there are many, many, many people there who are the person for information, depending on what information you want. But most importantly, there is a greasy little shit standing behind the bar. If you imagine sort of Snape without a bath for a month, that's what you're looking for. He's got sort of black hair plastered down to the side of his head, sort of really long, crooked nose. He's human, possibly half-orc. He's that ugly, you're not sure. And he sort of looks up. Well, what can I do for you? This is not the same person that Ephraim Luvon spoke to last time he came in, by the way.
Okay, well, I don't know that because I wasn't there.
Oh, are you not all in together?
She wasn't there last time.
Right,
it was just Luvon
but this
and-
time round it's just Losk, is it?
I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah.
Losk,
Yeah.
Losk, how do you look right now?
He's in his usual noble attire.
Oh, excellent, he looks over to you. Don't know how you got the password, but your type is not normally welcome in here. What is it you want?
I'm looking for someone who has a bounty on me. My name is Sen Shimokobe.
You take 4 points of psychic damage. Oh no, that doesn't
No,
work
it's
that way, does it?
Sen. Yeah, it doesn't work that
No,
way.
it's anybody else saying it. So he will confirm it. You say that's Sen, correct? Then you can
Yes.
take your psychic damage. And then he says, well,
Wait, are you gonna roll?
I thought you just took 4. Is it not? Is it a 1d4?
It's 1d4.
Okay, oh dear, well, that's a 4. There you go, you can take your 4 points of psychic damage.
I don't have my character sheet open.
That's fine, that's absolutely fine.
because it's not loading.
Alright,
Actually,
alright.
yeah, Beyond isn't loading my character sheet either right now.
Fantastic, I've got both of them
We are
open.
professionals.
I've got both of them open. Actually, tell a D&D Beyond is not loading your character sheets. Alright, that's not going to be a problem. Roleplay will have to suffice.
Just make the numbers up.
You can
it's
use it
fine.
on your phones if you have to. So,
Roleplay is
regardless, the most important thing is that he takes out a humongous scroll. And when I say this, it's really thick, and he starts rolling it down. Do you have any idea when the bounty might have been placed against you?
How many days has it been? Like a week?
A week. Oh. At this point, he goes to stand at the end of the bar and sort of pushes the scroll, and it rolls all the way out across the bar. And you can see there are approximately 400, 500 names on here, and he starts going up them one by one with a little marker. He gets to the top. I have no bounty for a sin. Is there any other name that it might be under?
Losk, but yeah, try Losk.
No. I don't seem to have a
Keiko?
bounty. Keiko. As in C-A-K-E-O?
Keiko.
Always wanted to say that. Something extra. Unless the bounty was placed on you more than a month ago, we don't have any bounties on your name. and there are very few bounties available that we do not have knowledge of. Perhaps this person is not going through official channels.
Perhaps. Alright, thanks. That's all I needed to know. Do I need to pay him?
For information on yourself, you'll never need to pay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll leave her.
Excellent. Okay. So, as you head out, it is now 10:15 in the evening. Were you headed back to the One-Armed Knight for some rest?
Yes.
Good.
By the way, it's Shimokobe's-sen that I take damage for.
Okay. Well, I just like throwing damage at you, to be honest. Cool. So, as the group of you head in and you all find your rooms, you may take a long rest. None of you can take a long rest because D&D Beyond doesn't work, but regardless, take a long rest. As you wake in the morning, should we say 6 a.m? Nice and early? To go out and talk to the knee breakers?
Mm-hmm.
We only have to. For the second half of our night, I want to be studying languages. I haven't picked a language yet, but.
Sorry,
like
man.
I'm
Give me a
happy
second. Give me a second, man. I've got you down. I turned you down earlier, and now I need to turn you back up again. You want to be doing what?
The second half of the night, I want to be studying languages. I haven't picked one yet.
So you're going to study random languages in general, or would you like to pick one for now? Because otherwise you will just learn a bit of everything, which will cut a day off of like.
Well, I was
something.
gonna pick it after I looked at them.
Okay, well, yeah, there's a large list of languages in front of you. You find yourself slightly drawn to the primordial language. It's, there's something about this language that you recognize. Something that feels familiar. It will take you less time to learn this language.
Primordial it is, then.
Alright, and as 6 a.m. rolls by, the rest of you all up nice and early, stretching out. Samisk in his tabaxi form comes and taps on all of your doors. Guys, the leader of the knee breakers is in town. You said you wanted to
Extremely
speak to him.
convenient.
That's like.
Is it convenient? We'll find out.
Samisk, whereabouts is he? Or they, I should say.
Downstairs.
How convenient.
That or the drow open their mouths. Alright. I will make my way downstairs
And
immediately.
Luvon, playing a part-time psychic sorcerer, will find that they are asking questions. Loud questions. As they see you, they clearly have your description.
I say, can I hear them before? I would like to just peek around the corner, but never mind. It's fine.
He's alone. His name's Errol.
Oh.
Just one halfling. Simple, lad. Well, it would seem you're looking for me. I thought I'd come and look for you. Now, we could have a friendly duel outside, or some sort of honourable rubbish. I could go back to where I was, and you could lay ambush. You could purchase information on me and me on you for many, many times, or we could grab a coffee and have a talk. How about that?
Well, the coffee sounds fine.
Do the Shadow Veil drink coffee?
Saying that in the middle of the tavern.
Oh no, he's speaking very quietly to you.
Oh, okay.
Sir, I don't really know what you're talking about.
Let's
Shadow Veil.
cut the bullshit. Come on, with me. And he'll take you upstairs to his side room. Why, inside, as you go in, you see Rocker Sunderdown tied back, arms behind him, to a chair. This gentleman came to follow you, apparently some important information you were missing. Unfortunately, his disguise wasn't very good. As I knew, that man was headed elsewhere. We've had some dealings with your kind recently, primarily through your taverns. Excellent place to sell gold, if I might say. And, well, this one got a bit mouthy, so I'm afraid he's currently a little indisposed, but if that answers how I know who you are, perhaps you would like to know who I am.
Just one question, God, before I get pulled into that room. Is it possible to cast? I don't think anyone, Tori and the rest of them don't know exactly where I am, correct?
No, but you're... Did you have... No, bracelets, it's not you guys.
No, I do. We do have.
Oh, you have tattoos. Yeah, you have tattoos.
Yeah, we have
Tattoos,
tattoos.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Send out a siren.
Yeah,
Rear.
I'm just gonna give them a whereabouts.
You're in
Just
room
like-
3.
All right.
Okay.
Torian, I'm in room 3. Apparently, just as Sam has said, the leader of the Knee Breakers is here. He has ruckus. Don't know how he managed that.
Well, shall we sit? And he gestures towards a table by the side, just sort of rudely very close to Rox's tied down body. And he pours you a coffee. And, well, by what name would you like me to call you?
Well, Ephraim is fine.
Ephraim it is. I'm Errol, and it's simple to say that some of us had a different life before the Shadow Veil came upon this land. Some of us were at peace, but some of us were not. Some of us were hardened criminals, and coming to the Shadow Veil created a chaos that some of us revel in. I want a good exchange. I will keep your identity a secret. I will let your little friend here go. As long as he promises not to try and fireball me in the back again.
Why did he try to fireball you in the first place?
We asked him to give up some money. He must have evil wheel. The authorities never tracked those people. Little was I know that he was hiding his Shadowvale identity underneath, and, well, fireball at my back, we stabbed him, he went all purple, and we went all, oh dear, and then we tied him up.
Keep my identity a secret.
On top
As
of
in-
which, sorry, he's going to give you a primary offer, a follow-up offer. We will gather some information for you. Anyone who comes through here of evil wheel, and anybody else that you might want us to keep an eye out for, we'll take notes. And we'll let you know.
And how would you accomplish that?
It's quite simple. We see everybody who comes into town. We've got ears in the taverns. We've got ears in Slink's Paradise. We're a large group.
How large? Jastern? Or just here?
I have contacts in Jastern, but they're more of the business nature than of the breaking nature, if you get my point. But we are known to have a few people in Helena's there, and they're useful informants. But primarily the West Country is more our cup of tea, or cup of coffee, if you will. There is something, however, I want in return.
And what is that?
I want to know about the Changeling.
And why, pray tell, would you want to know about the change?
A long time ago, I made a pact with a certain devil. It has given me power over the years, and in return I have had to perform some small duties. Suffice to say, this is one of them, apparently.
So, you say you're being held against your will, pretty much have to fill out this entire contract. And
I'm a fairly willing participant, given the power it is granted.
so, I don't control the changeling.
No. Why,
It's their decision.
yes, you did. All right. Well, do you want to use that clever little mind-speaky thing that you did to see if you can get him to come in? It's very loud. I can't hear anything that you're saying, but the noise of the magic is quite disturbing.
Ask.
What?
The leader of the Knee Breakers wants to speak with you.
Oh shit, what did I do? I'm in
I
trouble.
don't know.
Getting
You
called
may-
into the principal's office.
It seems so. Did you forget to turn in your goddamn test?
No, I cheated on it. Alright.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
let's
all
go
right.
get him.
Well, no, he wants to speak with you about. He has a pact with some devil, maybe you might know something to have. Maybe you two are more related than you think.
What a weird way to put it. Alright, coming in.
Alright, as you come in... Ah, well. You would be the changeling. There are many names for you, I believe.
3.
Well... I believe I've seen a couple more, but we'll pass that by the by. Regardless, I work for a devil. Or the devil and I have a contract, one might say. One I am a very willing participant in. And the devil sent me to tell you something. Just that. My contract is fulfilled, but before I do so, I am curious, and I would like to ask you a couple of questions. I am duty-bound to give you a certain amount of information, most predominantly the name of that person who is currently searching for you. I am not duty-bound to tell you where they are, where they're coming from, or how powerful they are.
Fortunately, I don't really care about where they come, they're doing.
Oh, you
Why?
don't mind if they just rock up while you're asleep in the middle of the night and stick a
Not
dagger through
really.
your throat?
But I am curious as to who they are.
Oh. Like my curiosity, I might pike yours. I have 2 questions. They're very simple. Why did you run away?
I didn't want to get married.
Now that's a reason I can run with. Interesting. Interesting. Well, that adds something to the tale. How did you survive the lands of the Shadowvale?
I don't know. I think I went a bit mad. There was a voice inside my head speaking to me. I feel like the Shadowvale lands does that to you, and that's what you need to survive there.
I've tried asking the Shadowvale, but they assure me that only time and mental fortitude will allow me. I thought maybe you'd have a different insight. I want to travel there. I don't want to choke upon their rancid air. Well, very well.
You'll get used to it.
You have answered my questions. I shall simply answer your question. There are 2 people currently looking for you. The first is your parents, but they have entered no correct channels, if you will, only asking about, creating rumour, etc. But the second person wants to kill you. Her name is Valas.
Never heard of it.
No. I know. So as I said, some promised more information. Valas is a Shadowvale who has turned against the Shadowvale. Was once a follower of Raveneska, but when captured by a certain drow and held in the drow citadel for 110 years, his mind was turned. He is a slave to the drow now. I know not why this drow wishes to kill him, and I know not what form he will take when he arrives. But I can tell you that he was most recently seen in Jastern. It is him that wants to kill you.
Interesting. Alright, I'm gonna head out of
Very well.
the
He looks over to Ephra. Oh, she's certainly quite sure of herself. Moon, your mic's coming through
Yes,
with some
he
strange
is.
noises. Yes. Your mic is coming through with some strange noises when you're not talking. Don't know what's happening there, but it's yeah.
Yes, he is. I can only say that once he arrived at Shadow in the Shadow Plane, he's become way more decisive and a bit more
How about now?
straightforward.
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
You sound good, Torian, as always.
Well, you seem pleased about that. Tell me, was he the first person to enter the Shadowvale and be fine?
To my knowledge, yes. He is the only one.
Most frustrating. The voice he heard in his head. Is he aware of who it is?
I don't believe so. No.
As a
And if-
parting gesture, allow me to tell you. You and I, let's just say that your friend and I work for the same person. To put it most simply, Bartezu. So, BAATZU, if anyone needs it.
Oh.
Bartezu and I have been in contract for 150 years. But it assures me that his new deal with your friend is just that, a new deal. He offered me to have the power to survive the Shadowvale lands, but the price, too high.
So then, perhaps maybe Losk is more powerful than you are.
Perhaps. Very possible. It may also be that he has less care for his own future and well-being, or his sanity.
The Shadow Plane.
Go on.
Shadow Plane will wipe clean all that is weighing your mind down. You may feel that you have something here, but you truly are suffering. Take the
Sorry.
trip to the Shadow Plane.
I'm going to stop for a second there. Moon, you might need to mute for a second when you're not talking. It really is like every half a second is like the wind is blowing through the whole house. Thank you. Sorry, you said, Levon? That's a test.
Yeah, it is.
The Shadow Plane takes away from you, what weighs your mind down, you said?
Yeah, truthfully, what weighs your mind down the material plane is not present in the Shadow Plane.
Yes, that is one of the main reasons I wouldn't take the bargain.
I believe you should still take the trip.
Mm.
You should see for yourself what you're made of.
I fought Mistralia. A little bit of Sandhoven. But never any deeper.
It's a beautiful place. Now, now what about my friend Ruckus here? Can we let him go free now?
Sure. He gestures his hand to the right, and you see that the chains that drop to the floor that were holding Ruckus seem to be alive. As they slither back over to Errol, and he rolls them up into an 8-ball and pockets them, at which point they go still. He won't be able to talk for another 6 hours.
Are there any bags or anything in here at all? Like anything he just brought himself, right?
All there is one chair, and then the table with the 2 chairs. The rest of the room is completely empty.
Alright.
You would assume that Errol's not staying here, and
Yeah.
if Rock has turned up with anything, you don't know whether it's been taken away or... Yes.
Alright. Is Ruckus like knocked out, or is it?
No, he's just silenced.
He's just
Very
silenced?
silenced.
Alright. Well, Arrow, you have your deal.
Okay.
And if I need to get in contact with you with anything, is there a way I can do this?
Where do you plan on being? Frankly, you can contact me at most of the shady parts of town. In Slinks, just speak to the bartender. If you head to Helena's in Jastern, you will need to speak to one Brandick.
Well, we may be leaving town, I mean.
The only place that we have no sway at all is Zerenia.
Alright. Okay.
Racist bastards. Very good. Thank you for not disrupting my business here. A pleasure making your acquaintance.
I'll just hold my hand out for a handshake and smile.
You'll take a mouthful of coffee, ignoring your handshake completely.
Smart man.
Nod. Forgive me, I'm not sure I trust the touch of one of you. I came across a priest recently. Well, I say recently, perhaps 2 or 3 months ago. The man couldn't speak, but the poisons he carried. Terrifying.
Beautiful.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. Poison is not my kind of weapon. It frightens me. You're playing with dangerous substances, and you never know when you might find one in your own drink. Regardless. I shall take my leave. Work must be done today.
Goodbye.
Oh. What you did with the half-hand. Appreciate it, he told us.
Well, he'll definitely be a valuable asset to us.
It's a tip where the half-hand's concerned to make sure he's your asset and not you his.
Yeah.
Good day.
Oh, good day. And when he leaves, I'm going to drive my hand through the table.
Give me a strength check. That was a good table.
It's a 7, so I just hit the table.
Yeah, and the coffee goes flying over to the side where it spills upon Rockus's knee. You see him looking over at you, slightly annoyed, and then he signs to you, paper and pen. Repetitively.
Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation.
He keeps signing to you, paper and pen.
Yeah.
He writes down, this is most unfortunate. That's where he's going to start. My mind seems to be silenced. I cannot even speak telepathically. This halfling creature is not a halfling.
Figured.
What do you know of the coming of the dragons?
Nothing currently.
Shit.
But maybe we'll find something in Jastern.
He writes down, Jastern sounds good. And then says, sorry, as we change from last episode to this episode. Kzanik. Kazanik. Your contact.
Contact in Jastern, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Goblin Scourge.
Mm. Okay.
Games Master. P.S. You're welcome.
I'll look toward Marcus. He can't be allowed to live.
The halfling? Question mark?
It may not be now. He will have to die.
He will angrily scribble out, do not stumble from the path of Ravenesca. Sogravia first.
I forgot.
Sorry?
Just taking names. I said I haven't forgotten. I'm just taking names.
Good. And in Jastern, ask about dragons.
Nod toward Marcus, and I'll start to leave the room to reacquire my party.
Yep, and you do so. The final thing that you would see Rockus say is, I am going back home. It was the dragons I came to you about.
Okay. I believe. I guess as if everyone's gathered currently.
Hmm. You're all together.
Yes.
Beautiful.
We should finish any preparations we have. We're off to Jastern. Anything you should take care of here before we leave.
Think I'm ready to go whenever.
You have it ready, Avis.
Resnick nods in agreement.
Okay. Samask,
Yes.
let's get the cart prepared. Oh, sorry, the chariot.
You wish to travel that slowly? I thought this one was a member of the Magus Arcane. Why do we not just take transport?
Yes, but I didn't want to
Yeah,
make
you
it
guys
so.
can walk. I'm taking the teleportation. Lost is like normally Lost sits very properly, but right now he's like sitting down on a chair, feet up on the table, hands behind his back.
Oh, I thought you would do I thought you were doing the leg spread.
I was
Crotch grab.
hoping he was doing the head down. Never mind, eh? Yes, magical transport will be very easily available
Okay.
if you're
Well.
traveling with somebody of the Mage's Arcane.
Oh, if that's the case, sure. As an operative, I'm used to keeping a low profile, but hey, if we're going to teleport and travel in style, sure.
I mean, hundreds of people travel every day. It's not uncommon. Merchants use it. It's, in, out, in, out, in, out. It's nothing like, it's not like you're gonna, just for reference, you're using the standard traffic portals, not the high-level Mage's Arcane transport that would take you into the Mage's Arcane of Jastern. This is going to deposit you outside the front gates.
Oh, okay.
So it's far less conspicuous than you might think.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was like, okay.
I suddenly realized you were like, I don't want to walk out of the Mage's Arcane in front of the Noble District.
Yeah.
Nothing to do. Yeah. So, as you
Yeah, I'll at that mention, I'll just recede to Losk and let Losk lead.
sorry, didn't mean to punch the microphone. Yeah, I mean, it's fair to say we can fast forward through that. Losk will guide you in. You'll walk up to the first person that looks like they're operating the travel, and they will send you like a postage stamp. And off you go, whoop, and you arrive outside the gates of the Great Jastern.
Yeah, LT 5000.
Oh, where's the Carthan map coming from? There we go. And as you look at the large gates, you see a huge gatehouse in front of you, a guardhouse either side, and 4 guards standing in front of it. What do you do?
I will defer to the more charismatic members of the party.
Going to walk in.
Alright, good luck. As you get to the gate, you are visiting or residents?
Resident.
Name?
Sen Shimakobe.
No. It's gone. It's gone. I recognize the name. You have family in town?
Yep, the Shimakobes.
Very well. You! Come here. This is Tiskus. He will be your guide. Tiskus, what do you know of the Shimakobe name? Yes, they have a house in town. Okay. And these are friends of yours traveling with you?
Yes.
Very well. You will not be able to enter the Noble District, and should you wish to maintain your presence in Jastern, you will need to register at the courthouse. Here, each of you, and you are given a small note that says for citizen registration. That will allow you through the Noble District just once, directly to the courthouse under guard security.
Sorry, where is my house? I thought I was a noble.
Oh, you are, but they aren't.
Oh, okay.
So
They're talking to them. Okay.
Yeah,
I was very
this is them who will need to
confused.
register. I should have put this one on. There is a house just to the left of the Vintage Ranch in the Noble District. That is the Shimakobe house.
Okay.
The citizens will need to register before anything else. It's protocol. Tiznik, escort them in. And a large bell rings and the gates slowly creak inwards. The guard, wearing full plate mail armor, a huge greatsword on his back, leans down. There's something with that name. I can't remember, but if I know of it, it either means you're up to no good or someone's looking for you.
Yeah, my parents are probably looking for me.
Ah, well, have a good day then, sir. Parental reunions are often not joyous. And Tiznik will lead you in. And as he escorts you on the long, long, long walk up the central
I'd like
path
to,
of Jastern, go on, Toriel.
I'd like to give a little wink A seductive wink at the guards as we walk by.
And as the main guard in the plate mail doesn't appear affected, in fact, he
Fine.
appears mildly disappointed. However, one of the other guards gives you a very deep look. You notice that he's got brown, disheveled hair down to one side, and he is a half-elf. Maybe a target for the future. Tiznik walks you through the long paths of Jastern. You pass moving carts and various other frequenting citizens. The smells of the city come to your nose. And quite frankly, at this point, they smell like shit. You walk past the stables, Pauper's District. On your right, the Workers' District on your left. You come past a fairly shabbily built temple. And then start to move towards some nicer buildings. You see some elegant shops, etc. And you approach another gatehouse, smaller, where 4 guards stand. One particular guard, rather tall, half-orc, with a sword and a shield, leans down. Kisnik! What is this? Bring this rabble through? Kisnik looks up. Qual, manners, remember what the boss says. This here is Senshi Makobe, and the others are here for registration. It would do us well to welcome them. Now, we shall pass. They have their papers. Qual sort of, Alright. And he will open the gate for you. To which point you are escorted directly to the courthouse. And in the courthouse you see a gnome. Very old, little tuft of grey hair between his 2 large ears and his pair of spectacles on the end of his nose. Order of business!
I'm here to register. Citizen registration.
Registration, how many of you?
There's 4 of us.
Who's getting left out?
5, sorry, 5.
Okay.
5.
Very good. Yes, office door 2. Go and knock. You will be seen.
All right. Do I see anything else around here? Like anything I can...
Oh, yeah. So, you have a large, basically long corridor to your right and left. To your right, you see fine wooden doors, brown with golden knockers. These all have Quarterroom 1, Quarterroom 2, Quarterroom 3, etc. written upon them. Way further down to the right, on the other side, you see safes. A series of safes. There appear to be over 3,000. You can tell this because the one that's closest to you can read the number of, which says 3071. On the left, you see black doors with golden knockers. Lacquered, smaller rooms. These appear to be offices of some sort. Other than that, nothing. The floor is well polished marble. Do proceed, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Didn't mean to stand in the way.
Very good. So, as you get to room door 2, do you know? I should mention the guard, Tiznik, is still standing over your shoulder.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and knock on the door.
As you do, opening the door is a elf with lustrous silver hair. Ah, I'm Caldor. Do I assume you're here for registration?
Soon. Correct, sir.
Right, come on in, come on in. That'll be it, Tiznik. If you want to wait outside. And as the 6 of you go in, he looks first to you, Ephraim. Name?
Ephraim.
Full name?
Ephraim Kolosk.
Excellent. Place of birth?
I was shit.
You can make it up, you can make it up, and it will be factually true. Yeah,
Okay, great.
There you go. I'm just giving free lease on this. You have their memories. I don't.
All right, great. I was born in Jornesta.
Okay. Excellent. And your occupation?
Yeah, I am a pig farmer.
He looks at you. Your purpose
Chef.
in Jastern?
I'm just visiting, just going for a travel.
Excellent.
Pigs did good this year.
Pig farmer. Very good. And your next of kin?
Oh well. Do they have to be alive or?
That usually is how it works.
Yeah, so they're all dead actually.
Charity?
Yes.
Excellent. Charity it is. Thank you. Here's your documentation. And he hands you a document. He looks over to the large tiefling. Name?
The name's Herzog.
Hatso, have you had a bad day?
Not particularly.
Why are you... Yes, nice joke. You're wanted at the Dawn Guard. Go and talk to them. Yes, anyway, next. He will look to Torian. Name?
Cassandra.
Full name?
I haven't come up with the last name yet. What?
You have a full name. You are...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Cassandra Tulloch. Tulloc. Oh, for relevance, Herzog, your surname was Alegni. Alegni. I should have given you that earlier. And then, as you mentioned, Cassandra Tulloch. Do any of you actually need to register apart from this gentleman? How about you? He looks to Avis.
Wouldn't we know that then? We didn't need to register?
I don't think Cassandra would have known. No. Elven protocol. They don't really pay attention to human protocol.
Okay, fair enough.
Herzog was told that he'd been to Jastern before. He's clearly forgotten. So that is as it is. He looks at Avis. Name?
Has Jeff been to Jastern before?
No. No. Jeff is about as irrelevant as it gets.
Ouch, too true. Postal. My name's Jeff.
Full name?
Jeff Hope.
Jeff Hope. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. You're gonna walk out that door, you're gonna get hit by a twitch axe.
Good name. Strong.
Yes, fits well in the law. Occupation?
Baker extraordinaire. Don't miss that part.
Baker.
Extraordinaire.
Baker.
Extraordinary.
Do this all
Sir,
day.
you're missing the best parts.
Place of origin?
Probably a bakery.
Anywhere that's not Jastern. Anywhere that's not Jastern. Name a place that isn't Jastern. Be my fucking guest. Give him a village name. Give him a hamlet. I really don't care. Tell him you're from Enfield. I don't give a shit. Tell him you're from Edinburgh. That's fine.
Edinburgh. That's
Excellent.
Like a nice place to be.
Edinburgh. Oh, very good. Okay, very good. And your next of kin, sir?
I'd like to know that as well. They're all dead.
Charity. Shall I...
All alone with my cake.
Perhaps... Perhaps a charity that serves baked goods to the homeless.
I was hoping to open a bakery franchise called Jeff's.
Excellent. Well, if you are looking to open a business, you will need to speak to Persivilius. He is in room 4. Regardless. And
good.
he will look over to Samisk. Name? Ruby Jastern. Excellent. Race? Tiefling? Yes, race Tiefling. She's the only one that he's questioned for some odd reason. Place of origin.
Wait, this is Tabaxi.
Tabaxi, that's what I meant, actually. Tabaxi, sorry. Yes, she's a cat. She's definitely 100% cat. Okay. Occupation? Unemployed?
Hey, I'm looking for a baker's assistant.
Shall I say unemployed or undetermined income? Yes, perhaps undetermined income is better. Okay. Your age, 106. And finally, your next of kin. And he lists out a Tabaxi name that is almost unpronounceable, and then tells him a place which is almost unpronounceable, and he sort of writes it down with no hesitation whatsoever. Oh, very good. Okay. Well, if that's all of you registered, perhaps you want to, leave.
Yeah, I'm going home.
Excellent. Okay, so as Lost, you can just walk out. The guard was never
Yeah,
watching
I'm going
you.
home.
So you will
Bye,
go straight to
guys.
the Shimako base. Herzog, you were wanted at the Dawn Guard.
Yes.
Yeah, so you will head straight there, I assume.
I will. I will.
Okay. The rest of you will be escorted out from the courthouse unless you have any other business there.
No, but I'm actually quite satisfied. I'm gonna start heading on out. I'll be escorted.
Okay, they escort the group of you to the noble gate, at which point it is unlocked, you are passed through, and then it is locked behind you. Are you all headed to the Goblin Scourge? Is that where you'd like to go first? I assume, where your contact is.
Sounds like a good place to start.
Alright, we'll send you guys there and we come to Lusk. Lusk, as you arrive at the familiar site of home. What are you doing?
Can I describe my home?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So my home is extremely, it like sticks out like a sore thumb. A lot of the other houses are very European in feel, but this one has a very oriental architecture style. There's a very nice, elaborate rock garden out in the front. You know, with some plants, but the main part is the rock garden. Because rock gardens are very hard to maintain. In the rock garden, there's also a pond filled with koi. I don't know how koi exists in your world, but here in modern day world, koi is very expensive.
Yep.
So yeah. Laska is going to walk up the steps and he's going to remove his shoes. And try knocking on the door.
The door is opened by a very elderly maid. Takes a look at you and... Is this Lusk's true form? Is this the form that they would know?
Yeah, this is...
Takes one look at you. Oh my.
Yep, I'm home. Excuse me. And he's just gonna walk right
She
past
steps
her.
out the way. She steps out the way, and a man walks into the corridor, confronting you, your father. What is the meaning of this?
I'm home. And Lusk is going to take a bow.
Do you expect to be welcomed?
Not really.
Have you any idea of the pain and trouble you've caused your mother?
Do you have any idea of the pain and trouble you caused to me? Forcing me to do something I didn't want to do?
It is tradition. It is the family way. Your mother and I were happy, were we not?
Some people just aren't like that.
Go see your mother.
Where is she?
In the drawing room. Get out of my
What
sight.
the fuck is a drawing room?
Drawing room is like a sort of it's the sort of place you might take tea. It's the sort of place you might look out over the conservatoire. It is a welcoming room, a visitor's room.
Ah, okay. Here, we call that the living room.
No. This is an older style room that's sort of a reception room before the living room. The living room would be a more private area for, you know, the family to truly live in.
Alright, cool. Yeah, I'll head over there.
She looks up. Sen? And
That is me.
And she comes up to you to hug you.
I return her hug.
I'm-
She is the only person where physical contact is not a problem.
I'm so sorry for what we did. But your father will have it no other way. You know what he's like.
After all these years, feeling your warm embrace is all that I need to keep me going.
Well, I hope it keeps you going after you find out about what your father has done.
Uh-oh, what has he done?
He has cast you out. You've
I'm
been
not surprised.
disinherited. And he's told the household you are not welcome here, but I have convinced him that you will be allowed to see me. That is all I could do. Here.
Thanks, Mom.
And she hands you a small velvet bag. Just put those in your pocket. Don't tell anyone.
Alright, cool. I guess I'm gonna go up into my original room,
And you won't be allowed, I'm afraid.
pack
Door-
my shit.
As you get to the bottom of the staircase, an old bodyguard stands at the bottom of the staircase. Your father says if you want to pack your things, you have an hour.
Alright, move. I only have an hour. Get out of my way.
Do you require assistance, sir?
No.
Very good. And as you go to your old room, you see that it is being kept exactly as it was. Apart from one thing, in the center of the room are 4 large cases. and what appears to be a box that doesn't have a bottom. Somebody has spent some money on allowing you to pack it quickly.
A box without a bottom? Do you mean like it's just like a rectangle, or like
No, it's
like an endless box?
It's an endless box. It doesn't matter how
Okay.
much you put in it; it will still fit more.
So it's like a bag of holding, but box.
Sort of. We'll see when you finish packing it.
Okay, well, actually kimonos are actually kind of bulky, so I guess I'm gonna take the box. I'm just gonna bring clothes that are similar to what I currently wear, probably like one set, maybe two. And of course the matching hats. You can't forget the fucking hats, right? And he's also going to grab like one of his nicer kimonos and find his pen that he gave to that person to tell his parents he was dead.
Yeah, that's there.
And put it back, click it back onto his hat.
Very well. As you go to lift the box, you will find it unliftable. Unfortunately, it doesn't reduce the weight. But there is somebody who can carry it for you. And a small young man comes over and hands you a bracelet, which you may put on your wrist, and at which point you will be able to lift the box. This is quite a useful tool, as nobody else will be able to run off with your shit.
Not my hats.
At this point, you are able to lift it with ease.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Losk isn't packing stuff, just some clothing and his
Okay.
pen, and then he's out. He's gonna say goodbye to his mother and then head out.
Okay, as you are leaving, your father turns to you. I work from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday to Friday. Please visit during those hours if you wish to see your mother. I do not wish to see you. Go.
I'm glad the feeling is mutual.
Watch that attitude, or you won't be visiting your mother either. You still owe your father respect, even if you do not like what he has done. Now get out.
Respect is a mutual thing. If you don't show me respect, I won't show you respect. And then he's gonna leave.
As you do so, we shall come to the great Herzog Legni. Herzog, you have arrived at the Dawn Guard. You know that this is an elite guard of some 150 people. You are not a Dawn Guard, but they have asked to see you. And when you get there, they ask for a full report on the fight of the Red Dragon that was seen in western Sogravia. As you arrive in, you are seen by a large man in heavy-set chainmail, and he tells you to go and see Genghis. And you know Genghis to be the head of the whole Dawn Guard, but you don't actually know what he looks like. And you are led to him. And this is a fairly slight man, a half-elf. He is wearing a simple leather jerkin and leather trousers, just very simple sort of soldier's wear. But around his neck he wears an emblem of the sword and shield crossed Dawn Guard, but his is wrought in pure gold. Only one man can wear this. He also has the pin upon his chest, which signals that he is privy to the royal palace. He looks down at you. Yes. Come in.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I will take your report on the happenings of the Red Dragon. The West, it is said that you were witness to it all, and as you don't have the information, I will merely say that you give an excellent report.
Yes,
you don't have a fucking clue what happened, because you weren't there. But it did happen. Once you give your report, he says, and do you have any thoughts, any opinions on the coming of these dragons?
I have a clue, sir.
Very well. Well,
If you don't mind me asking, do you?
no, but some of my superiors do. They fear that the dragons are returning in full, as they did once before.
Before, sir?
260 years ago, Gildor Silvertongue rode the Golden Dragon when the Dragon Wars ended. when the metallic dragons drove their chromatic cousins away from these shores, and soon after left to keep them hemmed in. Chromatics returning without the metallics does not bode well. But let us not speak of rumours. I prefer to work in facts like any good soldier. Here,
Aye, sir.
if you need, here are some rooms at the guardhouse for you for the next couple of days, and your pay. And he will hand you a pouch. I know that traditionally you would not pick up your pay from me, but as you were deferred to me for your report, I thought it efficient to hand you your pay myself. Inside you will find 5,000 rubles.
Thank you, sir.
Very well.
I'll stuff it in. Yeah.
One last thing. I understand that the Sisterhood have been hiring you out somewhat.
Yes, I've done work with them.
Excellent. I know that you are not forced to, but please remember your loyalties, and your fellow soldiers come first. Do not endanger them.
Oh, I would never, sir.
Excellent. Now, I believe there's a guard waiting for you outside. Unfortunately, the noble quarters are still restricted to you for now. I will see what I can do about that in the long run.
Very well, sir. Thank you. And he'll give him a bow and sort of.
Okay. Losk, as you exited the house, were you headed back to a particular place?
Do I know where the I'll just say I stole it from my parents' house. Do I know where the church is? Like what district it's in?
There is a temple in every
Nope.
district. There is the Noble Temple. Which
The
is more of a
Lathander
cathedral.
one.
They're all Lathander. Sorry, I know I'm not being very helpful here, but there is one in the Workers' District, one in the Paupers' District, and one next to the Royal Palace, the large and...
The one that I know the wellest.
Yes, that would be the
That
one next to the
one.
Royal Palace. Okay. You may head there.
Wait, which one is it?
No, the one next to the Royal Palace, the one that's huge and says temple in massive
Okay,
letters.
that one.
Um,
I'm gonna first of all, I'm gonna ask where the fuck everybody else is.
Who are you asking? Or are you doing this by telepathy?
I'll ask Luvon.
Well, currently I'm on my way to the Goblin Scourge.
You would know where
Believe
that
this
is.
is in the working district.
Yes. Lost would know where that is.
That's a long walk.
It's only 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. Depending on how fast you run. But this temple...
Lost isn't running. Lost doesn't run.
this temple, are you wanting to just have a look, or are you wanting to revisit old menus? Some old menus? Some old memories?
Both, but I do not want to be carrying this box around, so I'll head over to where they are.
Okay.
So I can dump it off.
Oh, how convenient of you. So as the party rejoin, you walk into a fairly grim-looking tavern. The bar is not particularly clean. There are workers drinking their ale everywhere, and there is a gameskeeper to the right. This gameskeeper, you've been told, is your contact. He appears to be a fairly normal, average-looking human with a slightly downcast look.
I'll walk over. The odds are against us.
Indeed they are. 5 minutes. Staircase. See a staircase to your right. The gameskeeper heads up to the bar. Indicates his table, where a young barmaid will go and look after it for a while. And he walks upstairs.
I'll follow behind.
I'm assuming the whole party will follow behind. So, as you all get upstairs, you see him... you see an open door into a room. Well, which one of you is Luvon?
That would be me.
And Samisk? That would be I.
That'll be her.
Excellent. Well, first of all, I have secured you some lodgings. You will find these in... Well, I actually have two options for you. One is where I'm currently staying, and one is the lodgings I have secured. I thought the lodgings that I'd secured might be more inconspicuous, but it's up to you. The first of which is on Rat Alley. Rat Alley is in the Paupers District, not far from Helena's. Oh, wrong one. How do we get rid of this place? Oh, there we go. Thank you. So let me just do a zoomy thing. It is the... Oh, this is going to be real hard to pinpoint. To the left of the Salty Dog, there is a cluster of 4 houses. And then one more to the left is a cluster of 3. It is the top left of the 3. It's 86 Rat Alley. These are the lodgings I've secured for you. They have... they have a very simple abode up top. But they have a cellar exit into the more nefarious underworld, which is very well appointed. There are rooms for 6, an office, place for lodgings, and an arms room. This would be a little better for you, I believe, but the lodgings I have are a little simpler, but they are a little bit closer to town, if you will, as we go left. They are 2 doors down from here, and they are this top right building, 2 to the right of the Goblin's Scourge. This is 2 Summer Lane. It's not 2 at all, sorry, it's 8 Summer Lane. 8 Summer Lane. These are fairly simply furnished rooms. There are only 2 bedrooms. Downstairs. It's decently appointed, but that is all. I've taken the liberty of sprucing up the underneath of the Rat Alley property, allowing you all to be a bit more comfortable as you are acquainted to. Also, a contact of ours, Yiska, currently the games master at the Golden Griffin, has taken the liberty of exchanging up some gold for some rubles for you. Here, he takes out a large sack. There are 50,000 rubles inside. As for you, and he looks to Samisk, here's your paperwork. This will get you through the noble gate. You will want to find Ginya. Ginya is a lizard folk in the Arcade of Endless Wonders. He has an opening. He captures strange and unusual pets and sells them. You will be able to go into business with him and run the shop with him. He is not privy to our history nor to our cause, but he is an excellent businessman, and this should provide you a regular source of income and access to the nobles of the day. Samisk nods and turns to Luvon. May I take my leave and get ready, sir?
That'll be fine.
Here, and he hands you the small war chariot with donkey attached. Very
Any
well.
some skinny nobles that may approach that could be lured and used for appropriate infiltration fodder. Big note.
I will be taking a second body if that appeases you, sir. I hope one of an inconspicuous noble lady. As for the rest, if I can smuggle anything to you that will not cause too much ruckus in the city, I will do so, but if not, I wish you the best of luck.
Perfect.
And Samisk will leave. Kazanik turns around to you and says, you should probably get to know some of the local criminal gangs. Password to get downstairs in the Salty Dog is Wyvern. And this here, and he flips you a large red wooden token with an H on it, elegantly written. You realise this couldn't be replicated. There is magic involved in it. This here will get you to the back of Helena's. Rumour has it somebody very important has been infiltrated. But rumour amongst the Shadowvale, to clarify. But the information has not been passed down yet. Even Yiska doesn't know, and as far as I was aware, Yiska was the primary operative here. We await more information, but it is worth being aware of.
Okay. I'll turn around to everybody else. I believe Rat Alley would probably be better for us, but is there anything for staying at Summer Lane?
Frankly, I've been there for 7 years, and it's equally as shit as it was when I first arrived. No. I can't see any purpose, apart from its adjacency to the tavern, which I will admit is convenient. But other than that, it is shite. I do have a second lodgings, should you need to find me in my darker days. I've taken a small room at number 21, Rat Alley. There is no underneath. It's a single room, but it allows me to keep some of the shadier objects of our craft out of the sight of God's eyes.
Is that no?
Sorry, all of you are together.
Oh, okay. Just wasn't sure. Well, Avis, Toy, Losk, Resnick, where would you like to stay?
The nicer place.
Well, to qualify, although the upstairs of Rat Alley is pretty shit, as you go downstairs, expect lavish bedrooms richly acquainted with four-poster beds and chests and magical items and, extendable storage and a richly appointed office and a large living room and a grand piano and all of that sort of stuff. It is like, it is basically the height of the height of nobles' houses it's been appointed for. They have spared no cost on making sure you have the best of the best.
This is at Rat Alley.
This is in Rat Alley. It's underneath Rat Alley. The
Underneath
Rat Alley
Alley,
itself, when you go in, is like some mildewed, shitty little shanty shack with a couple of bedrooms. There is one other thing for Rat Alley. It has an escape hatch,
Oh.
and this will get you out the city in a hurry.
Seems like Rat Alley could be actually perfect.
And we have done our best to make sure that it is
Tailor-made for us.
exactly what you guys
Yeah.
would require.
Well, Losk, is that to your liking?
I don't need such lavish things. Just I prefer not to be sleeping with bed bugs and other critters.
So the rooms at the Rat Alley are appointed richly. They may be a tad too lavish, in fact, but... Well, we don't know how long you'll be staying. We wish you to have every comfort available. Not to mention there is a large amount of secrecy there.
Sounds good to me.
Good.
Rat Alley it is.
Excellent. And... should you need me, you know where to find me. You will find us all at the taverns. There's only one exception. Well, two, I guess, if you count our newest infiltration, who no one can quite work out who. There is a gentleman in a somewhat useful but very unusual position. We have a priest in the upper temple. He is a relatively lowly priest. He cleans the altars, but it gives him free access to the normal district. His name is Vaznarik. And should you be in the noble quarters, he will assist. Now, I have managed to secure something else, but I am unsure whether it is wise to use it. I will leave that to your discretion. And he hands you all paperwork to get through to the noble district. This may be better used in an emergency than otherwise, as they do not suit your personas, with the possible exception of Cassandra there. The rest of you may wish to take different forms before using this paperwork, as you are newly registered citizens. Obviously for yourself, and he looks over to Losk, you should have no problem entering the noble district, but... well, let's just say these papers may mark you as more conspicuous than free. But they are there if you need them.
Do I feel any magic coming from this paper, or is it just a simple piece of paper?
There is no magic in the general writing of the paper, but the signature is definitely that of... It is designed to be unforgeable. You can get forged papers that will get you through. These are clearly not a forgery, they are a theft.
Okay.
They are signed Amon. Each one of them. And being the head diplomat of the city, that might be relevant.
Yes. The name does ring a bell. I definitely know who this is. Alright. Well, Kazanik, if that's all.
I believe it is. Hey, may Raveneska walk with you.
I'm with you. Well, I will turn and sort of walk out.
Okay. And will the party be headed to their new home? You did get a key as well, by the way. When you chose it. Is that where the party is headed, or are you headed elsewhere?
Yeah, let's check out our new digs.
Okay, well
Yeah.
in that case, as we walk over to Rat Alley, we shall take a short break and return in a moment. As we arrive in Rat Alley. Do we? Let us arrive in Rat Alley. Okay. And as you step up to the front of your home, you see a fairly average-looking shack-like building. It's clearly built of wood.
Did we all get a key?
Luvon was given the key.
Yeah,
I've
sorry.
just one key.
I thought he was going to say something else. That's why I thought God was still
Nope,
narrating.
nope.
I'm going to walk forward and open the door, go inside.
Oh, that doesn't smell good. It's slightly mildewed, slightly damp. The walls are damp. There's a vaguely, somewhat decent kitchen. Everything else appears to be completely ramshackle. There are 2 bedrooms. Neither of them is particularly well appointed. And there is a rug over the floor in the center of the corridor as you enter in.
Smells of human. Okay.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Lift up the carpet. Do I find
Excellent.
anything?
As you lift up the rug, you see a very simple silver circle in the floor with a bar across it. It is fairly obvious that as you turn this, you will be able to open the hatch.
Yeah.
And as you do, you smell home. Yes. Losk, you smell memories of the Shadow Plane. And as you step down the richly appointed staircase in black stone with excellent mahogany handrails either side, you arrive in a marble-floored room. There is he wasn't kidding, there is a large grand piano over to the left. There are 4 very, very sumptuous and soft-looking couches, and a plush rug in the center. And on the wall is a large rack of what appears to be wines. As you look over to the right, you see a really well-appointed kitchen. Some of these things seem to be possibly not normal usage, but instead magically acquainted. You would have seen these in the Shadowvale homes, the heat rings that heat food and drink, that sort of stuff. And as you open each drawer and cupboard, not only will you find the things you might need in drawer and cupboard, you will also find that they have excess space in them, one might say. The next room round, you find a large office, a huge bureau sitting in the center, with a very high-backed red leather chair. Inside each drawer, you find documentation. And as you look through these documents, you see the names of nobles. And their family ties, their place in the family tree, and any information that you might have on them, including descriptions. These are really, really well-kept notes. But you recognize the script. Luvon, give me an insight check.
Do I? I don't think I do. 8.
8. No, you've seen this before, but you can't really remember where. Oh well. As
I'm
you
tired.
keep looking through, you see notes on comings and goings of the royals. You see times for various shops. You see times for various changes of the guard. Somebody really kept fastidious notes here, but some of them are a little outdated. 20 years outdated. Some of them have been updated, but by somebody with a messier hand. And less detailed noting, but the original notes were in fact perfect. Regardless, you'll find these in all the drawers, and in the cabinets behind you. There is also on the wall of this office a large floor-to-ceiling mirror. Give me a perception check, anyone who's good at it.
Ooh, me.
Me. Me rolls a
16.
Oh, I thought it was a 6. This is clearly an escape hatch. It is clearly meant to be opened. Behind it, if you open it gently, you will see a long, dark corridor. That is all. In the next room around, you will find an excellent dining room, with chairs for 8, and a very well-appointed table, and a second cabinet for drinks, but these containing spirits. You'll find a variety of glasses and rich vases and excellent homeware. As you walk round to the next room, you see these are 6 bedrooms. One of them is very well appointed with a 4-poster bed and a large armoire and a large cupboard, as well as a couple of chests. But there is clothing in these chests. Items in these cupboards.
Can I take a look?
You can all take a look. Give me an investigation check, and Torian, give me an insight check, please.
21 on my
I'm
investigation.
great at those.
Nope. Okay. Oh, you are able to find a series of items, but Luvon, you find something very specific. You find an engagement ring and a wedding ring. Next to a dark
Samus?
stone. Samisk indeed. This was his home. And this was his bedroom.
It was.
As you go to the next rooms, you find that they are appointed not quite as richly, but that is because somebody clearly bought the furniture in a hurry. So some of this stuff is a little mismatched, but it's still the most expensive stuff you can imagine. There are excellent 4-poster beds, exquisite armoires, etc. And they have been magically enhanced to have extendable drawers, etc. And each of you will find a chest at the foot of the bed that will only unlock for one of you. The exception being Losk. When you get to the last room, you will find a chest that unlocks to anyone. And there is a lock upon the bed. Anyone at the Shadow Vale will be able to show you how these work. You attune to them briefly, then you place them in the chest. And they will only ever open for you. Once you get to the last 2 rooms, you find 2 very richly appointed bathrooms. Showers, baths, natural hot water sources, fluffy towels, everything. It's like a nice hotel. But then, as you look to the other side of the room, you see another one of those floor-length mirrors. Clearly very similar to the previous escape hatch.
Can you open it?
As you try and open it, you hear... and steam comes out towards you. Or, more particularly, cold air. Inside, you see 3 perfectly preserved bodies. One of a fairly nondescript halfling, a fairly nondescript human, and one of a very, very rich-looking noble, possibly a merchant. Each one has a nice sort of table that's padded, where the bodies are stored. And there is a magic in this air. It's a slight green shimmer. It is clearly continuously preserving the bodies.
I'll walk in and run my hand over the wall. Oh,
Make
the
a
story-
constitution check for me, please.
Constitution check?
Yeah.
Is this cold in here? Awesome.
It is ice. Pure
Oof.
ice.
11.
Yeah, you'll take 4 points of frost damage from that.
That's fine.
But you're able to get your hand away. Good job you didn't roll under a 5. You might have had to unstick you.
Can't say that I'm happy. I don't think I would be happy. This is very efficient. I love things that are optimal. And I'll turn around and leave. And letting everyone do whatever they want, really. I want to just explore the rooms and look around and get to know the place.
As you're all doing that, is it fair to say that Losk is likely to be in his bedroom?
Yeah. I
Losk,
guess.
in your bedroom, you see the final one of these 3 floor-to-ceiling mirrors. You've seen Luvon open the last 2. It doesn't look too complicated. Will you open this one?
No.
Very good. We shall leave it closed for later discovery. Welcome home.
Wow. I think I'll have a drink actually before we actually begin doing any actual work today.
A voice comes from across the room. The brandy is excellent. I see you found home.
Yes. I must say that I do regret that you weren't here for much longer. These notes are impressive.
I do my best, but they will need updating, and they will need updating swiftly. Kazanik was always one who managed to make a good living and to get a lot of money. He was never one to take particularly good notes. I'll get started on them immediately.
Thank you. Also, Semisk,
Yes.
I'm not sure if you want to or not. That room will be yours. I won't stay in there.
Appreciate it. Although, I imagine I'll be spending a lot of time in the room that I've been given at the Arcade of Endless Wonders. They've given me a room there, and frankly, the work looks like it might bring us some excellent money, and give me eyes on the comings and goings of the nobles that shop for all day, every day. I saw the princess there, an elven princess.
Really?
Her name was Lady Azeldria. She walks with magic unlike anything I've ever seen. Not necessarily more powerful, but foreign. Like that of the undead dragons that we keep. You know how we can understand it, but we cannot understand it. Always feels foreign. Always feels different.
Just, for the meantime, just keep as detailed notes as you can.
I will. I will update them as much as possible. Though I fear my comings and goings may be very late at night and very early in the morning. But that is not a life I'm particularly unused to. There's one other thing. The lizard folk man I work with, Ginya, expressed some very interesting opinions in his first moments of meeting me.
Do tell.
He said he wished the Shadow Veil would just hurry up and finish us off. He's had enough of the idiot human politicking. Perhaps a potential future recruit.
Perhaps. Try also, on top of learning about all of the nobles, learn about his interesting pets as well. I wonder if they have any special abilities.
From what I see so far, they are merely unusual, but I will see what I can do. Unusual meaning from rarer places. 2 of them are from the Shadow Veil. One of our purple pseudo-dragons was there, as well as one of the acric lizards. Bit bizarre. I don't know how he's got his hands on them. I am very interested in his methods. But yes, all I have to do at the moment is care for them, so I'm cleaning animal shit for the next week.
I'm sorry, Samisk.
I prefer the company of animals to men, so I'll take pleasure in it in some ways. It's a long time since I've been here. My wife, she stayed in this room with me, but the piano was hers. She played beautifully. We spent many nights ignoring the call of Ravenesque for a day or two. Just to enjoy
Living
being
in
alive.
domestic bliss.
Just to enjoy being alive. In the 1200 years, I'm sure Ravenesque will grant me a few weeks off.
Cute, living in domestic bliss.
You know, Navon, emotions aren't as bad as you think. Sometimes they're useful. It does well to revel in joy occasionally, but not to frolic in it or forget the power of death.
Perhaps, and I guess maybe I'll take your word for it now. And I believe after I just neck down some brandy, I believe I'll do what the humans call having fun. So take a look at the city.
Thanks. Will you be taking Torium?
Torian wants to go.
Yeah, I mean, I to be honest, I was more directing that question at Moon than at you. Moon, will Torian be taken?
Yeah.
Figures. But I just sort of check. So as the two of you go to leave, is anybody else wanting to go shopping, or do you perhaps want to split up? Where is Avis right now?
There's stuff in our chest in our room.
No. There's nothing in any of the chests. They are clearly bottomless. Apart from that, yes. No, it's the only person who had anything in their room was Losk, but he didn't open the cupboard, so we don't know. And Samus, of course.
I'll probably head out shopping as well.
Excellent. Well, Resnick, are you keeping the body of Hertz, or would you perhaps like to inquire as to the 3 bodies in the fridge?
Yeah, I wanted to inquire about the bodies in the fridge, actually.
Samus turns to you. They're new. Very new. I believe Kazanik said he put them in... Kazanik, sorry, said he put them in there yesterday. So, the halfling is from out of town, a visitor. He has his appropriate documents in his pocket. I believe his name was Reuben. He comes to visit his sister in the working district. A useful persona in that it is innocuous, but nothing more. The human is a merchant. He was in the process of opening a shop in the Noble District. But unfortunately his business plans fell through when he suffered an unfortunate death. Regardless, you could resume said plans. He has various contacts, but mostly seems to sell jewellery. The final one is Francois Chaupoisson. He is taking a week's holiday in... well, I think he was on his way back from the Festival of the Harvest Moon. But he was taking a week's holiday in the centre of the country. He's gone out walking. His family do not expect him back until next Tuesday. He is the son of... He's the second son, I believe, of the noble Chaupoisson's family. I would advise against taking the body of the Chaupoisson for now. However, it might be of interest that the man there, what was his name? My memory fails me. He goes over to the desk and pulls out some notes. His name was Lonok.
No.
Yes, L-O-R-N-O-K. Like I said, a jeweler merchant, but with access documents to the Noble District. Very convenient.
Yes, you'll do.
So, I need an intelligence check and a concentration and a constitution check if you are going to try and keep the body of Herzo intact. As this will be your first time doing it.
In that order, intelligence and then constitution.
Yep. As Samus will talk you through the process of leaving the body with your mind, but not with your soul. Transferring your soul last.
So that's an 11 on the intelligence and 22 on the constitution.
The 11's a pass. That was the DC. The 22 is double the DC, so you're absolutely fine. Nice. Yep, Herzo's body is perfectly preserved in the fridge, as we shall so affectionately call it. Speaking of the other fridge, you will find that the fridge is richly appointed with nice food. Should anybody wish to cook up a meal at any point. But yes, you were able to take his body, and you remember that he had a meeting, not today, but tomorrow, at 4 p.m. in the Dancing Lady. Also remember, rather conveniently, that he has no family ties here. He left his family in a faraway village. And he's only registered 3 days ago. No one else really knows of him. But he came with a large nest egg, 20,000 rubles to be exact, which is put down as a deposit on a store in the Noble District, which you will find on your map to be 1 to the left of the hungry... 2 to the left of the hungry halfling.
And who do I know who I'm to speak to?
You know that the lady you are due to meet is one Kiliana.
Kiliarn.
She's interested in going to business in jewelry. She wants a second income here. And she is willing to foot a large bill for you if you give her a small part of the profits in future. Small in her mind is... She's mentioned 80% of the profits go to her. That was her idea of small. She seemed a very self-confident lady. You know what she looks like, and you know she's currently taken residence in the Dancing Lady. But the meeting is at 4 p.m. Tomorrow. So, where do we find Avis? You were headed out shopping, weren't you? Sorry, you've said that already. You were headed out in Jeff's body?
Yep.
Okay. Cassandra, you'll be remaining as Cassandra, and you'll be able to use your noble documentation, unlike the others, to walk freely into the noble district. Ephraim, you might need to become real tight friends with one of these two to get through. Losk, where do we find you?
Shopping.
You're going shopping as well, yes? Well, the group of you will be headed out then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a question. Cassandra, how you dressed currently?
The body was in a fine green dress.
Oh my god, can I stop lagging for 2 seconds?
That's a really interesting outfit name.
Okay. So, it looks, you know...
You good
What
now?
am I wearing?
Yeah. The body you took was in a nice green dress with fairly sensible riding shoes.
Why the fuck did I have to answer then?
Well, I figured you wouldn't know, so that's why I answered. But maybe you've changed.
I was gonna throw some random shit out there. Whatever. I'll
Maybe
take
you've
that.
changed,
That's
I
good
don't know.
too.
Samus turns around to you at this point and says, you may be of interest. I took the liberty of putting it in your room, young man. And looks to Losk, as I figured it might suit you best. There is a large walk-in wardrobe through there, with various disguise kits involved as well, should you wish to look like somebody else without taking another body. There is also a selection of clothing from the lowest of pauper to the clothing straight out of the armoires of the royals.
Thank you, but I don't need it.
Oh, I thought perhaps you might need it for your disguises, but...
I have a shift weave.
That you do. Very well. Perhaps you would like to change room with somebody. Everything else in the rooms is the same. I can move the chests. Okay, who would like access to the endless wardrobe?
Me.
Very well.
There you go.
That is a convincing enough answer. Samus doesn't find this particularly difficult. He merely picks up one chest, puts it in, puts out the other chest, puts it in there. Nosk will now have the room without the... There is still a full-length mirror in there, but it isn't the same as the other three. This one instead. And as you open this mirror, Torian, you see the corridor is approximately half a mile in length.
Oh, wonderful.
There's clothing on both sides, but primarily the first thing you see when you walk in is 6 dressing tables, each one of which has a selection of makeup and disguised arts there. The first of which appears vaguely magical, but give me a Arcana check.
Arcana check?
Yes.
I can do that if I actually open D&D Beyond.
It's usually useful.
Yeah, sometimes. That's a 20.
Oh, yeah, you know how to use this. These...
I also have Mask of Many Faces, so I don't even need it.
No, but you will be able to educate others or help them attire themselves correctly.
Hell yeah, I will.
This will allow you to use a disguise kit with advantage on whoever's charisma check uses the kit, as opposed to the person who's getting dressed. So if Luvon was to sit and you were to do his makeup, it would be a charisma check from Cassandra with advantage plus your proficiency modifier.
So I'd be...
Pretty good at it.
for him, got it.
Yeah, you'd be pretty good at it. I imagine Lost could also be an expert. Between the two of you, you will be able to change the looks of anyone.
Why
So,
would Losk need to know how to use a disguise kit ever in his life?
it's fair to say Lost probably knows how to use a makeup kit.
Oh,
And
yeah,
he may need to disguise someone else.
He probably
and-
stole from his mom's makeup kit and played with it as a
I
child.
figured.
Are you
And he
proficient in it?
he probably... well, no, the makeup kit is not the disguise kit, but he will be able to
Oh,
use both.
it's just-
So yeah, and I assume both of you have a fairly decent charisma modifier, so disguises will be easy to come by.
Same.
Yes, so Shopping, you say? Semes looks over.
Yes.
Mm,
Before I go,
not for me.
Ooh.
I'll walk over to Torian. Do you mind if I return your closet? If I'm going to be walking around with you, and you possibly have access to the royal quarter, I think I may need to look a bit better than a pig farmer.
Oh, of course. Anything. For
I'll
you.
return your closet.
As you enter the closet and you will pass the disguise kit dressing tables, you will see over large, long racks are notes written in large scroll saying, pauper district worker, pauper district beggar, pauper district, blah, 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 etc. And you quickly walk past those to noble district. And interesting, it says noble district commoner. A common nobleman as opposed to, it's the commoners who are allowed in the noble district. These people who are merchants, perhaps workers, etc. One particular rack takes your eye. There's a dancing lady, workers' outfits. What is? Might come in useful at some point, but for now you are able to get to the noble district nobleman outfits.
Take a, common nobleman.
Yep.
I think that should be fun enough.
Mm.
I'll take that and I'll turn to Torian. Ephraim is nice. He's a nice chiseled dark jaw, but however, make me a bit more, how do humans say, palatable.
Aristocratic.
Oh, aristocratic. Perfect.
They have a new style in their hair where they oil it.
Anything.
It's fairly simple.
Oh, gross.
Yes, all for the job. Well, Torian, have at it.
Thomas looks over to you. You're missing something there. He closes his eyes and focuses. His hair grows. He looks over to you.
My hair grows?
Oh, his hair grows.
Oh,
He looks
sorry.
over to you. Is this not something... Perhaps this is in the time before Ravenesca. I thought you would all be capable of this. How strange. Here, he'll place his hand on your forehead, and your hair will grow and shorten as necessary.
Oh.
It is merely part of the body we infiltrate. Changes can be made. Simple ones, at least. Perhaps we'll talk about it in further detail later on. Regardless, for now, you're looking rather excellent. Ephraim, you say, is the name?
Yeah. I should probably continue using my natural voice rather than the voice I took before.
Perhaps a surname might be necessary at the gate.
Maybe not Kolosk. Kolosk may not be
Name
Wise
yourself of the Randall family.
Randall.
They are a merchant family, very large. I think there's about 14 sons. Nobody will remember which Randall is rich. There is an Ephron in the family.
Is Ephron?
Ephron. They won't really miss.
Perfect. Ephraim Randall.
He looks over to Jeff. Are you travelling into the noble district like that? You want
Wrong
to?
with this?
You want to look like a baker extraordinaire? You might perhaps
Indeed.
need some better clothing. If I dare say so myself. Hey.
Suit me up.
And he will go and select you something off the rack that makes you look like a fairly normal, merchant looking to make it in the noble district. Your name will do, but you must look the part. Excellent.
Indeed.
Oh, as to the rest of you, shall we? I will take you to the noble gate, but I will leave you there.
We shall.
Unless you wish to shop in the merchant district first. At which point I will proceed without you.
Was the artificer that upgraded stuff in Jastern somewhere?
Yes, but you will need to ask around. He doesn't have a store.
Sneaky. Well, that is my plan for the shopping trip then.
Well, ask about. Yeah. See what you can find. Is anybody wanting to stop in the merchant district, or are you going to go straight to the noble district? If you're wanting to buy basic items like spoons and swords, that are not magical, you will find the merchant district to be far cheaper than the noble district. But if you're wishing to buy anything that's particularly special, you will need to go to the noble district. Some of the prices on these pages are wrong, I will warn you. So be aware that you may ask for something and I'll tell you it's a different price than what you see. I'm trying to update as I go at the moment. So, anybody to stop by the merchant district?
No.
Right now.
Yeah, I think I believe I'm okay as well.
Excellent, then I shall escort you. And Ruby begins to lead the way from Rat Alley, and she takes you an interesting route. She takes you in front of the entrance of the Salty Dog and Helena's, and over towards the wall, and then back through the merchant district, so that it looks like you're coming from the merchant district to go to the noble court and not the pauper district. Flashes some paperwork at the door. The rest of you are looked at briefly. Ephron, Cassandra, you can produce your paperwork. Jeff, you were able to produce the paperwork you were given for today by the courthouse about inquiring for your business. Losk, of course, doesn't need paperwork. And the body you took, Resnick, has paperwork on it, so you are all able to produce paperwork as needed. And guard looks over to you. To Cassandra. The Lady Princess has been seen around the noble district. You would know he refers to the Princess of the Elves. Yeah. She seeks out some of her kind, if you wish to make her acquaintance at any moment. Have a good day. Have a good afternoon. I didn't get that one. He's speaking Elvish again. Having some lag issues there, I think. Regardless, we'll assume he replied politely, and you may proceed through. So, as we come to our noble district. Let's cut it down to size a little bit. Where it takes our eye. The first store you would come to would be the Dancing Lady. Not really a store. Definitely a place for entertainment of the rich and powerful. More a courtesan's house. So I'm assuming that would not be of any necessity. Will you be heading left into the Noble's Merchant District, or would you be headed right into the Arcade of Endless Wonders?
I believe I want to head to the Arcade of Endless Wonders.
Yeah, I definitely want to head to the Arcade of Endless Wonders.
Okay, so as you pass the Dancing Lady, you see a series of market stalls sprawled about. There are some permanent buildings here. Ruby is already walking to one where strange pets are sold. But in here you see strange spices, herbs, unusual things, and one of the first buildings you come to is unlike anything you've ever seen. It is a permanent building, but it is built of metal and glass. It's incredibly rare. And there are, on the front is a globe made out of sort of a netted material that swells in place, making an almost hypnotic effect. And it says artifacts and inventions on the door.
Would you mind walking in?
You walk in and you see behind the counter a young human, maybe 22, 23. Looks like it might be his first day on the job. And sitting over on a stool to the left, you see a artificer, a kobold. Glasses on, very short. Looks up and says, "Oh, customers." The man, the human, looks over to you. "Greetings, gentlemen and ladies. My name is Cyphus. I welcome you to our store. This is a new store we opened only yesterday, and we sell many exciting artifacts. What is it that I can do for you? And you can see as he's talking that these are rehearsed lines.
Yeah.
Like, he is just getting into the groove of, like, I'm new to this store, I'm here to run it, I haven't really got a clue how anything works in it. But he's there to help regardless.
Just to be sure, this is like a magic store, right? Magical artifacts.
In a way, but they are all in some way technological. They are improved items, if you like. One particular, on the table, on the counter, sorry, at the front, there's a sign saying, bestseller. Glasses that see invisibility.
So, how is there a bestseller when they just opened? Did they just sell one and be like, that's our bestseller? Because
Maybe you
that's
should
the only
ask.
thing we've sold.
Maybe you should ask.
I would just love to see what you have. Perhaps you can give a demonstration.
Well,
Yes, and might I say, that was a lovely speech.
thank you. But as to what we have, I shall defer to the shop owner. Yeah. And the kobold steps down. Oh, well, hi there. We sell all sorts of different items, but we have two methods of sale here. There are some that I have already made, such as armor that gives you resistance, or glasses that let you see invisibility. Perhaps a darkness coin, or various other items, but I can also enhance those items you already have. For a price, of course.
God, if I sit here and look at this kobold, do I recognize it?
Oh, yes, you do. This kobold used to be a slave. A slave of one halfling.
I think at this point, Luvon is a little bit uncontrolled. I'm just going to take a time to relax myself and give other people the chance to do something and look around currently. Just look at all this on display.
So there are some items that you guys would just recognize straight up. Rings that allow you to be warm or cold, that give resistance to certain things, that allow you to walk on water, fall slowly, store spells, concentrate on 2 spells at once, that sort of thing. You see certain staffs and wands, and they look like they're fairly average. You also see some wooden weaponry. One appears to be a boomerang, one appears to be a dart, but you don't recognize what they do. You would also see some more unusual contraptions. Thank you. Some cooking utensils that appear to perhaps heat themselves. Some unusual storage bags, some staffs, a horn, a signal whistle of some sort. Lots of these items are foreign to your eyes. What is Resnick looking at? Oh, sorry, go on. You first.
No, I was just my last thing is just tell me, and I'll look toward the young kobold. Do you have anything that would make a good gift for someone who has everything?
Does anyone have everything?
Well,
I would say freedom, but we don't sell it.
no, we don't.
I have a personal favourite amongst these items. Maybe it would do as a gift, but it doesn't come cheap.
What is it?
Well, I'll show you. He takes out a metal cane, approximate height for walking. And he demonstrates this cane can fire multiple spells. Some damaging, but mostly not. And then he also shows you that the staff itself can transform into a serpent on the ground and a large bunch of flowers, which seems to make him giggle uncontrollably. He also shows you a light box a small golden box, and he says, "These tell stories." He opens the lid, and you see moving pictures upon the wall of a man fighting a dragon. They make good gifts. I was gifted one once.
I'll ponder this for a while. Thank you. Resnick, did you have business? And I'm going to turn around and begin looking
Yes.
at more of the stuff.
Resnick is the only one to have changed his name twice, right? So I'm just going to call you Resnick. Resnick.
Okay. Yes.
What takes your fancy?
Lornock.
Mhm.
Actually, that light box has caught my eye.
Mm. Each one is one silver piece. One Kolbeck. Sorry.
Just a Kolbeck.
Just a Kolbeck. But they all tell different stories. Well, I like to sell them cheaply as they tend to make children happy.
I see. And what about something for a more mature woman? A business associate, perhaps.
I have this. And he pulls out a small wooden and silver band. The petal of a rose on it. Once per day, a petal will grow slowly throughout the day. It can be used to restore one's vigor, or it can be watched. I find it beautiful. You will find this on D&D Beyond as the Band of the Dryad.
Band of the Dryad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Lornock will probably look at the ring and ponder on it for a little bit.
Excellent. The gentleman at the counter will turn to Losk. And what about you, young man? Does something interest you?
Yes, actually. He's going to pick up one of the rings of concentration. I saw somebody use one of these once. How did they work?
Oh, they
Thank you.
concentrate. Kyo looks over. When you are concentrating on a spell, you can transfer it to the ring, which will concentrate on it for you, but you must maintain some concentration on it. Otherwise the spell will fail, but it means that you can maintain 2 spells at once.
Do you have anything like this, but not a ring?
I do, but I am also able to put this enchantment into another item, if you wish. Perhaps something you already own.
Unfortunately, I don't think I have anything that it can be transferred to.
He can transfer it to your shift weave, your ring of mind shielding. He really doesn't care.
Shift weave?
He can transfer it to anything.
My shift weave?
That's what I said.
He was balling out of control.
Yeah, sure. Transfer it to my shift weave.
Okay, excellent. I mean, I'm telling you that, but you can tell him that as you hand him the shift weave, and he goes, "Well, this is magnificently made. An elf, correct?
Yeah, I think.
Beautiful. Such a work of art. Yes. That will... Oh, I have to charge, don't I? Well, it's 3,500 gold to purchase one brand new, or 3,000 to get it transferred to this weave. It will take me an hour.
Okay, consider it done. And then I will hand him over the 3,000.
Forgive me, sir, if I just make sure everybody else is served before I concentrate on that. What about you, sir? And he looks to Avis.
I hear you have a service of upgrading items, and I will show off my Amulet of the Devout.
Ah. Yes, I can upgrade that. That is fairly simple work for a simple upgrade. Perhaps only 400 gold. For a larger upgrade, I can look at 2,200 rubles, and finally, if you wish me to work on this for a night, 4,000 rubles, I think is fair. And I can make this as powerful as this particular amulet can be. At least to my knowledge.
I
No
think
prize for guessing that's +1, +2, and +3.
I worked that out myself.
Just thought I'd let you know.
I think I will take the overnight service for
4,000
the amount that
rubles.
I've already forgotten.
4,000 rubles. Excellent. Well, I will have this.
Deal.
Would you like this delivered? Or would you like to collect it tomorrow?
I will come collect it tomorrow,
Excellent.
any particular time.
We open at 8.
I will see you then.
Excellent. And what about you, my lady? He looks to Cassandra. Here's where we find out if Moon's lagging still. Books and cats and books and cats and books and cats and... Moon, you good? It's looking like a reconnect to me, mate.
Yeah.
Luvon, did everything
Everything-
take your eyes?
Yes. Well, I wanted Torian to do it, but Torian can't. While they're talking, I would like to take one of the rubles out of my pocket.
Mhm.
And what does it look like? Is it a coin or is it
A ruble, a single ruble would be a coin. 10 rubles would be a note.
Okay. I want to take a single ruble coin, and I want to inscribe into it a raven's beak and face.
Mm-hmm.
And while the kobold is dealing with them, I wanted to have Torian perform a distraction. What is the kobold wearing? Anything deep pockets, anything like that?
Well, yeah, deep pocket is fair to say. He's got a blue robe on. You are being watched, however. Make a perception check.
I am being watched. Of course I am.
Hmm.
Shit. That's an 8. I don't know I'm being watched.
You know of one person watching you that is not the store owner. As you entered, there was a steel defender by the door that is clearly alert.
And it's just watching me?
It's watching all of
Or
you.
it's just watching all of us?
What does it look like?
I believe it looks like a short, angry gnome made of metal. His face is constantly screwed up like a face.
But you're saying that there's more than one person watching me. Watching all of us.
It's fair to say you probably have surmised that it's not the only thing watching you, but as for where you're being watched from, your perception check was not good enough.
Fine. I'll just look at him from the corner of my eye. I want to study his face.
Kobold?
Mm-hmm.
He clearly loves what he's doing. He appears very happy. Very peaceful.
Okay.
Give me an insight check.
Six.
Yeah, that's all you're getting. Cool.
Of course.
Moon, are you back with us yet? Nope, he's not in the chat.
Said that he's
No,
gonna
I think we lost him for a second.
Oh, he's gonna leave?
Yeah. Because he can't get his connection to be stable.
Well, nothing else has caught my eye.
Cassandra will shop off camera. Anything for anybody else? Would anybody like a weapon upgraded, perhaps?
Can Lordock just bust out the death glaive like in the middle
Yeah.
of this shop?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he'll pull it out of wherever the hell he's keeping it, and place it on a bench close to the
The
artificer.
kobold's eyes light up. Looks at it. This is incredible.
Yeah, something that I've picked up along my travels.
He looks at you. It is not kind in nature. It appears to be sentient in some way. But... If I might say so myself, I don't think I am the sort of person it is looking for. So, communing with it is ill-advised for me. I can upgrade this weapon, but it would be painful to me. It will cost a lot of money.
That's fine then, little kobold.
For the record, for just a +1, he would charge you 15,000 gold.
Ooh.
You need to find somebody who's not lawful good to deal with that one. It's going to get whispered in his ear all the whole time. What about Avis? Does Avis have any items he would like upgraded, his armor or his weapons, or is he quite happy with them as they are?
I think I'm happy with what I've got just now.
Excellent, and lost. Yep, and move on.
Yes, I'm fine.
Good. Well, he will take your shift weave and begin to start concentrating on it.
Yeah.
You may return in an hour. I will have it ready for you.
It's so nice that it's not a week.
No.
10 sessions later and I finally get it back.
Oh, cool. So as you guys head out the door, Avis, give me a perception check.
Nat 1, baby.
Yeah, you blind. All right, cool. You'll never know who's guarding this door.
Sun's in my eyes.
You said I did recognize him though.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know exactly who he is. You know he's the kobold that was enslaved that was freed.
But I don't know who he's currently with though.
Well, the person he was with is some random shopkeeper he's clearly just hired. So, nobody important. But as you come out the store, you see somebody you do recognize. You haven't seen them before, but you've seen pictures. He is dressed in a long, flowing black coat, golden embroidery. He is wearing fine knee-high boots, walks with an air of importance. And as soon as Kira gets his headset on, you will recognize him as the diplomat Amon, walking into the store. And he stops briefly before the door. Oh, good. I'm glad to see that the man is doing business. Did you find the shop to your liking?
A wonderful service they provide.
I have a personal stake in this business. I set it up myself. The kobold is quite unique. We have another artificer in town, as one Sicris, a gnome, but their talents do not equate.
What would the difference be between these two skilled artificers?
Sicris has learnt many things over many years and studied. This kobold appears to do it without trying. Naturally.
That's a lucky kobold.
Quite
Well.
the talent.
If you heard his story, perhaps you would not think him lucky. It is not a price I would pay. Regardless, I don't believe we've met. Wait. He looks over to Losk. You currently look like Sen, right?
I am sad, but yes.
Yes. Okay. Got you. Sen Simakube. Your father said you'd
Yes.
returned. I hope you find the city more welcoming than you found the home.
Thank you.
A priest at the temple remembers you fondly.
Does he know?
Priest Sebastian. He would love it if you visited him. Regardless.
Losk is gonna give him a strange look. Because Losk was chased out of the temple.
Oh, I know. This is intentional. Priest Sebastian would love to speak to you if possible.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Well, just passing the news anyway. A wonderful day, and to those of you who are new here, welcome to the city.
Gone. The kobold in that store. Does he have a name?
Keo. Keo did give you his name in the store as well.
Did he? Oh, okay, he did say you're right.
But yes, you can ask, that's fine. Keo, he arrived with a group of heroes, in fact. Only 2 days ago.
Really?
Mm.
Who are these heroes now?
Scattered about the town, it would seem. They have taken lodging. I don't quite know where, though. But, yes, one of them, I believe, is currently continuously visiting the temple. His brother is a war hero, lying on his deathbed. Sad tale.
Interesting. His name?
The brother is Scar Frostborn. As to the hero, well, perhaps you will meet them yourself. Sorry, I didn't
Are
actually.
you lying to me?
I was trying to decide.
Seem quite nervous.
As the brother's name is his to disclose, they didn't want to be too recognized around town. I'm sure you understand.
I don't know if I can mean it better.
Oh yeah, you did. Did you want to buy anything?
Oh no.
Okay, we'll still shop offline, but yes, we can vaguely hear you in and out. You're currently facing Amon, who is
Don't
outside Kyo's store.
worry.
Oh, you managed to watch, okay. Any other questions for him, Luvon?
No, that'll be all.
Have a
He's
pleasant
actually given me
afternoon.
Quite enough.
And he will step inside Kyo's store. Are we continuing down the Arcade of Endless Wonders?
I will follow whatever my party want to do. I have to think.
Is there anything in particular the party would be looking for in the Arcade of Endless Wonders?
I got what I wanted already.
Yeah, same.
Resnick?
No, not particularly. Just on for the ride.
Oh, okay. And yeah, as long as Luvon doesn't have anything particular to buy. Bear in mind, this is the arcade where you can request any items, so in time, if that is something you want to research, that's fine. Other than that, we'll let you wander through the arcade. And as you do, you see stores selling strange pottery. You sell stores selling unusual jewels. You come to one particular stall that takes your eye. It is attached to the front of a building. It appears to be the store of a woodcarver, but these wood carvings are not like anything you've ever seen. And Avis in particular, you are drawn to one wooden bead that lies upon the counter. And as you look at it, it's like you're looking into it. Drawn into the sky of endless twilight and stars. As you look up, you see what appears to potentially be a man. Could be a woman. Of almost brown skin. Almost golden brown skin. Not human-looking skin at all. With large ears with long earlobes and a very delicate-looking face. And the skin is almost porcelain. The hair is like strands of gold, not real. It's quite unlike anything you've ever seen. And he sits in a very elegant cross-legged pose, but his limbs are slightly too long to be any race you've ever seen before. None of you recognize this race. He looks down at you. Wow. Does the bead interest you?
Mr. Potter.
It was waiting
has
for you, you
caught
know.
my eye.
It was
He
waiting
sounds
for
like
you.
Snape.
Take it. It is for you now. No one else.
Oh, free bead. You usually go to a festival for that.
My works do not always come with a
Oh
cost.
my god.
They often are waiting for the right person. Some, and he gestures towards a wooden carving of a cat that's incredibly elegant and almost lifelike. I mean, you wouldn't, if it wasn't in wood, if it was coloured, you wouldn't have for a second believed it wasn't a real cat. Some are mere ornaments, but some mean something to the owner. Please take it and take care of it, and I hope in time it may take care of you.
I don't suppose you could tell me a little bit more about this fascinating bead.
The only person who will be able to find out what its purpose is you. But, well, I see that you have friends. Perhaps they may choose a bead. Please. And he gestures towards a huge wicker basket with a large set of beads in. Move on. Will you?
Sure.
I kind of need you to bite on this one. All of you.
No, it's fine.
Just giving you a heads up. I kind of really need you to bite on this one. Yeah, so Levon, as you put your hand in, it is drawn. You don't really control where your hand goes, and it grasps a bead that you can't even see. As you pull it out, you see the star of Ravenesca. Most interesting. That one was drawn to you like a magnet. Take it, may it guide you.
Sure.
But what about you, walker in the strange form? And he looks to Resnick.
I will reach my hand into the basket.
Again, your hand is drawn, but not deep. Very near the top. You find one that doesn't make any sense to you. It is a black square on a circular wooden bead. But when you ponder it more, it makes you feel... Sorry, do you feel offended? I've called you a square. Get over it. But no, as you ponder it more deeply, you see that it is more a symbol of rigidity, of strength, of permanence. That makes sense to you.
I'll grasp it tight in my hand.
He then gestures towards Cassandra. Please, take a bead. Servant. I'm going to assume that Moon's response is that you seem to be able to hear us perfectly, we're just struggling to hear you. So as you reach your hand inside, yours is drawn down, 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 down. And eventually you come to a bead that is the purest of black, with one simple white dot in it. But as you focus on this white dot, it reminds you of infinity, of endless, unwavering loyalty, strength, and belief. It feels like life. He looks lost to Lusk. This makes you uncomfortable.
I'm gonna shoot marbles.
Lusk?
Hmm?
Does this make you uncomfortable?
Why would it?
I don't know your period at ease, but perhaps it is nothing to do with my work. Please, take a bead.
Okay.
You search,
Sniff
but
my bead.
you are not drawn to anything in particular. Until, as you retract your hand, you notice, just to the edge of the wicker basket, one bead has fallen upon the floor. As you stoop to pick it up, you were looking at it. It was the purest of dark woods, but as you pick it up, it is pale and light in color. And as you turn it, it swells in multiple colors that change as you turn the ball. It feels natural to you, living a path of endless change. I can't say it will bring you peace. Perhaps one day it may guide you. Alas,
Whoever said I wasn't at peace?
it is written upon your features. Powers struggle within you, vying for control, vying for completeness. You are an unresolved puzzle, an unfinished masterpiece.
I'll take that as a compliment.
It wasn't intended as one.
Too bad. It's a compliment now.
Very good. Well, Perhaps next time our greeting may be less ominous. But
Perhaps.
for today, I'm glad to have made your acquaintance. I won't ask your names. I'm sure you won't give me them. But my name is Avril Indris. And
My name's Jeff.
yes,
Jeff.
Jeff indeed. Please, do not offend me by giving me names that do not belong to you. Instead, let us part ways with you having mine. I wish you a good day. He nods. As he nods, you see his eyes briefly change colour, ever so slightly, as they flicker to gold, and then back to the stark green they were before. Mystery to be unraveled. As you proceed further, maybe. As you proceed further into the Arcade of Endless Wonders, you come upon a store, outside which are two prowling cats which have tentacles on their back. Small, very small. Don't worry, you're not about to get attacked by displacers. As you look in through the window, you see one Ruby. Looking after various cages. Do you wish to go and say hello, or will you pass by?
I'm too busy looking at the small cats with multiple tails.
No, one tail, multiple tentacles on their back.
I mean tentacles, yeah.
Yes, they go forwards, not backwards.
Resnick will probably go in.
Greetings.
I'll probably stay outside.
Give me our customers!
Ruby?
Shh, you don't know me.
Yes, of course.
Inya comes forward, and you see a lizard folk with eyes that appear to spin quicker than is appropriate in decent company. He's looking around, darting. His tail seems to have a mind of its own as it slowly scratches at the back of his neck. Looks down at you. Well, I see we have customers. Pray tell, do you wish to have a pet of your own?
Perhaps.
These are no natural animals. They come with magics. A bond is for life. Hopefully theirs and not yours.
What kind of magic?
Perhaps you are familiar with the wizards that have familiars as their pets. The bond is relatively similar, but you cannot dismiss them at will. And they are mortal, they can die. At this point, you feel a little weight in your pocket, Resnick, as Ruby has slipped you 100 rubles. Sorry for the delay on that one, Allura. It's a strange place to hand out 100 gold. Continuing, Resnick, is there a particular type of beast that you may wish to make acquaintance with?
A spider.
You would like a spider?
Yeah. I never to stop talking with your lisp.
I will try not to take offense to that. It is something to do with the tongue, I believe. Regardless, would you like a spider of regular size or one that is slightly larger?
Regular size.
Excellent. I will have our newest employee, quite a master with the beasts, this young lady. Ruby, if you will please bring forth the Parasokra.
You said these are like familiars. Can I see through them?
No.
Like?
They are only like familiars in that you will be able to form a telepathic bond with them. And they are bonded to one master and one master only. And Ruby comes forward shortly with a small cage. inside which is a dark red and black speckled spider. You notice that Ruby's incredibly careful not to meet its eyes. And at this moment, the shopmaster Ginya warns you. If you meet its eyes, you may find that you need to purchase it. The bond is permanent.
I will look into its eyes.
As you do, you hear a voice in your head. Well, it would seem we are to work together. My name is Karak,
Yes, and
but you may call me something different if you wish. Just a name given to me by these temporary keepers.
what would you like to be called?
Midnight.
What?
Midnight.
Midnight? Midnight it is.
Excellent. Then as it folk looks down to you, it would seem you have made your purchase. The Parakokris is 1,000 rubles to purchase. Cheap, if I say so myself. He looks back to Resnick. Did you have a particular beast in mind?
No, no beast for me.
Perhaps more of a house pet?
What of those kittens outside?
Kittens? Yes, you would call them kittens. Enlightened man. Well. Shit, wrong note. Sorry. No, we're not going to call them that. The lyrics are quite an unusual beast. No, they are nothing akin to Displacer beasts. They just happen to have 2 tentacles on their back.
Mm-hmm.
They walk upon ceilings as easily as they do upon the ground. They are somewhat affectionate. But the forming of a bond is up to them, not up to the master. Unlike our other pets, they are possessive. They are 1,400 rubles. But it is said that with a true bond, one may unlock certain powers that they have within. As to the nature of those powers, it depends on the lyric with which you bond.
I think I'll take that chance.
Excellent. Please go outside and see whether you can make one's acquaintance. I will not allow you to make the purchase if the beast does not bond with you. As you walk outside, one of the Displacer beasts quickly scurries away from you. You made me call him a Displacer beast. What? One of the lyrics.
Lyric. It's a lyric.
It's lyrics. Lyryx. But the second one jumps up onto your shoulder. You hear a voice in your mind. Well, it would seem that you and I have a future together. What is your name?
And I'll whisper in its ear, Resnick.
You do not need to use your mouth to speak. It is quite disconcerting to my sensitive ears at such a close range. Regardless, I will give you my name in time. I look forward to us working together. Once you go back into the store, the cat will not leave your shoulder. Possibly ever.
Nice.
1,400 rubles.
1,400.
And we'll turn to Avis. Do you wish yourself a pet?
I'm okay just now, thank you.
Okay. Zlosk, are you in the store or out of the store? Losk?
I'm hanging out outside.
Okay. Then that is our business concluded. I wish you a good day and a good bond. No returns. Farewell. Once you exit, Ruby goes, bye! Have a nice day! In a voice that you've
Giddy
never
up.
heard Samisk use ever. And you're all outside.
As I hear that, I'm just going to look at Sam and just give him a raised eyebrow.
It gives you a subtle shrug.
I will be letting Midnight do as he pleases and chill wherever he likes.
He binds a small web onto the centre of your collar. It's dangling down in front of your navel.
Jesus Christ, why do you have to be a spider?
Well, we shall move on with them. The Arcade of Endless Wonders has many more stores. You see glass beads, vases, unusual flowers that appear in a state of undeath.
How much was my spider?
1,000.
1,000.
You
Busy
s-
lagging my balls off to hear things.
That's alright. We've got you. You see a strange woodcarvers, not akin to the previous beads man. This is more weapons and armour, but made of wood. Unusual. Other stores that might pique your interest are a store full of weapons that appear to be only for throwing. There is another store that appears to sell wands that fire towards the user. You'd have to... They certainly don't know they do damage, but they are certainly self-improvement wands. You see a store full of dusty old books. But,
No, that's interesting.
will you enter?
Yeah, I'll walk in.
You see
I'll go in as well.
a very aged dwarf shuffling forwards. Well, hello there. What is it I can do for you?
Oh. Do you have any interest, maybe rare or other interesting tomes that one may not normally read, or maybe your band?
I think you have missed the point of this store. These are tomes of learning. They will perhaps increase the possibilities of your mind, if you get what I mean. Take this, for example. This is used by magic users to gain themselves another spell that they can store during the day. Does that make it more clear?
Yeah.
And keep your hands to yourself. You don't read unless you buy. So here you will find tomes of clear understanding, tomes of the inspiring leader, that sort of thing at the highest level, stat increases.
Yeah.
But you also find things that grant a proficiency, that grant a spell slot of 1 to 6. Spells that grant you a resistance to a certain magic effect, such as advantage against charm. One in particular takes Luvon's eye, however. It says, proof against detection of location.
Yeah, I'll be taking that.
I thought you might. That's why I told you to keep your hands to yourself. Might I assume that you might actually want more than one? Seems you might hang around with some shifty fellas if you get my drift. I've seen that hungry look in people's eyes before, analysing everything before they walk in. Wondering how they might empower themselves. You hunger for power. Can't fool an old dwarf. Now, how many do you want? They're 300 each.
Well, I'll take 6.
Thought that might be the case. I'll charge you 1,600.
Damn, there was a proficiency I wanted. I don't remember it. I'll come back
You
to it. I'll come
perhaps
back to it.
seek to use a tool? Or maybe play an instrument. Although I can't see you being the fancy type. Or maybe you wanted to learn a language. People greed for that skill. Frankly, I'd rather people couldn't speak Dwarvish unless they've taken the time to learn it from dwarves, but business is business. What about the rest of you? Anyone else wanting a book of learning? Seek to improve yourself.
No.
Is there anything that would grant like a proficiency in a skill of sorts?
Very much so.
Persuasion?
You seek the art of the tongues, do you? This book here, The Art of the Golden Tongue, will grant you the skills that you wish, but it doesn't come cheap. Skills like these usually take years to practice and perfect. It's 3,800. No discounts.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm sure about that.
I'll just like sort of snarl over the dwarf.
My mother was far scarier than you. What is it you want? You paying or not?
Lornock will take out the cash and slap it on the table.
Excellent. Just a word of advice, I suggest you sit down to read. Otherwise you might find yourself sat down wherever you started reading, if you catch my drift. Is anybody else interested in learning anything new? Or would you go out the same unimproved self you came in as?
Is there, by chance, a book that will give me proficiency in a saving throw?
There is. It ain't cheap. You seek defense against certain arts, do you? Well,
I'd like to be able to roll out the way of things. If you catch my
you
drift.
seek the arts of the acrobat. This book's kind of unique. You see, each of these, they grant knowledge of getting out the way and knowledge of utilising that ability for other things. It's 15,000. But you will get proficiency in acrobatics as well. If that is in any way useful to you whatsoever.
I don't suppose you trade in things other than rubles.
I've been known
I've
to
got
take
a nice
a few.
shiny diamond.
I've been known to take a few things. Let's have a look at it.
I'll hold my hand out with the big shiny diamond.
He raises his eyebrow. Aye, I can take 5,000 off for that. That's a good gem you got there.
We have a deal. Now I'll
Excellent.
give him a diamond and 10,000 rubles.
I would say it was a pleasure to trade with you, but it wasn't.
Well,
Anything else that the rest of you seek to learn, or you, are you leaving as your previous unimproved selves?
You have a book on expertise.
You wish to become a master of an art, do you? Price is
We do.
entirely dependent on the type of skill you wish to develop further. You will, of course, need to be pretty good with the skill in the first place. What is it you had in mind?
Sleight of hand.
Ah, she had the dexterous fingers. I knew I was right when I said you lot needed to keep your hands to yourself, wasn't I?
No. That's why I'm looking for expertise in sleight of hand.
Yes, well, perhaps after you've read the book, I should watch out when you come back. Regardless, I do have the book. I believe it is called The Master Thief. Perhaps I'll knock off 100 gold for the slander it throws at you. That will cost you 9,000, but I'll give you it for 8,900 if you wish.
No thanks.
Aye. You need the sleight of hand skill to get more money to buy the sleight of hand skill. You seem to
I
have
don't
found yourself
need
in what
more
I call
money.
a catch-22.
I don't need more money.
Ah, but if you had limitless gold, you'd have bought the damn book, wouldn't you? And if you'd bought the book, you'd have limitless gold because you could nick it from anywhere. Catch-22, told you. What about the rest of you? You all done?
I don't know what the fuck you're referring to.
Well, you see, if you had mastery of the sleight of hand skill, you would be able to steal
But
enough
why
money
is
that it wouldn't matter.
why is he saying catch 22? Like, what the fuck is that?
It means like it's a situation where if you had the money, you'd buy the book, but if you had the skill, you wouldn't need the book, but you'd have the money. It's like yeah. It's an irrevocable cycle. It's like a catch-22, exactly. Yes, was that you speaking, Elven Lass?
Do you have any books for stats?
4. Sorry.
Stats?
Stats, yes. I have tomes of the deepest understanding. Tomes of mighty
How much
intellect.
are they?
Tomes of great strength. These are my most expensive books. They will cost you 22,000 rubles each. And I ain't making a deal. For reference, I believe an arcane store actually has books that give you 2 stats instead of 1 for only 25,000. The Tomes of True Understanding, etc. So these are probably not worth it. Tome of Clear Thought, Leadership, and Influence and Understanding are 25 grand over at Andariel's Arcane Goods. So, as a kind DM, I'll tell you that you probably don't want to buy them. Of course, if you're wearing your invisible pants, you might be able to make an excellent thievery. Then again, you might not.
Alright. I'm not good at sleight of...
No. It's probably not for you. I hear there's a book for that too! Regardless.
2 books. Oh, I'm sorry. You done? I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
What is it you might want? Oh, conversation. Got that word. What about the rest of it?
I want the sleight of hand book.
8,900. The Master Thief. Expertise. Is that correct? Are you proficient in sleight of hand?
Am I proficient in it?
Yeah, you can't get expertise without proficiency. You'll sell your proficiency for 3,000. But yes, there is a scaling to this. You can't become an expert in something you are not yet practiced in. Do you want the proficiency for 3,000? Well, we ever know. We are currently communicating by text. Please bear with us.
I figured.
I was more telling the viewers. I know that you figured. You can see the damn channel. I can do 2 at once, though, so he looks over to Luvon. You remembered what you need, perhaps a tome of memory.
No, I believe I do want the term of. Want to learn to tinker, as well as want to learn how to make jewelry.
Jewelry, I've got you covered. You want to tinker, you need to go to Lyric and get lessons yourself. I ain't got no books that can give you those stats. But jewellery's a relatively cheap trade to come by. Fairly simple as long as you've got the dexterity. If you get what I mean. That will cost you 2,000.
Perfect. Definitely take that. And do you have 2,000? And do you have a book on expertise of investigation?
You wish to be the master investigator? See this work here. This here is the writings of Schlock Holm.
Oh, I believe I've heard
He
of
was
him.
a master detective back in his time.
Was he?
Yes. Schlockholm, as I like to call him.
And how much for this book?
That's before 9,000.
Yeah, I believe I'll purchase this from you as well.
Excellent. Good, very good. Well, does that conclude our business? It's getting late, I'd like to shut up the shop.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good as well.
Okay. You've meandered the Arcade of Endless Wonders and only got halfway. The shops are closing. They do stay open all night, some of these, but most of them sell unusual herbs and women, and various other things. However, even the shadow will get hungry. Shall we retire for a meal?
I believe so.
You did pass a restaurant, the Vintage Ranch. It is very expensive, but it has an exquisite menu. If not, you can
That'll
head
do
back.
fine.
Yes. Excellent. As you rock up to the door of the Vintage Ranch, you are greeted by a very well-to-do human who bows deeply in tailcoats and a bow tie. How many do you require a table for?
6.
6. Excellent. By the window or
Wait,
in
hold on,
privacy?
hold on. Is Ruby with us?
No.
No.
So then just 5 then.
Just 5 of you. Excellent. By the window or in an area of privacy? Both are available. What was that, Lavi?
You said by the window,
To the
and I
window.
said to the
You
wall.
said, you said to the window and you said to the wall.
Just somewhere
Great.
not too sweaty, please.
All of our restaurant is aerated. You will not find it too hot.
I would prefer the window. Is that okay with everybody?
Perhaps in the corner as well.
In the corner by the window. I will make sure that happens.
But it's
Excellent.
also by the walls.
Please come with me. It is both by window and wall. You are most definitely correct. But please be seated. Our wine menu is here.
I believe the sweatshop. Never mind.
And may I bring water for the table? Excellent. I will return shortly. So you look down at the wine menu, and there are 116 items on this wine list.
Jesus.
The cheapest is 120 rubles. Most expensive is 150,000. You also see a small drinks menu on the side, offering whiskies, brandies, spirits, etc., and some offering some soft drinks, juice of various fruits. The juice of soft drinks will cost you 5 rubles. The spirits will cost you 200. Very shortly. Sorry, go on, Niven.
No, it's just I'm. Did he already provide water or no?
Oh, he's coming back with it in a moment.
It's coming. I chose the window because I want to watch the people.
Yes. Well, as you look out, you see the Arcade of Endless Wonders is both bustling and packing up simultaneously. It appears that some stalls only operate during the day and some only operate during the night. See various people walking past. But those of you who are paying attention to the inside will see an elf walk in, a female elf. With red hair down to her hips. Blonde hair down to her hips, sorry. And she walks in with what appears to be a dragonborn. As well as an elf, female. And a couple of others. One appears to be a halfling, and one appears to be a very, very armoured guard, who instead of sitting, stands behind her table. You can see that various members of the crowd are looking over towards her. But your waiter comes up, gives you a large decanter of water and 5 glasses. Says, and your food menus. And he presents them gently, each one in front of you. Leather bound. And he says, may I take your drinks order?
Water's fine for me. This is enough.
And the rest of you?
A whiskey.
Whiskey.
A whiskey, please.
Very well.
Make it a double.
Okay.
Are there any exotic fruit juices?
Now, we have the juice of the pomegranate. And yes, he did purposely mispronounce that.
Oh, the pomegranate.
Oh, yes, the pomegranate. There is that of the wild papaya, that of the wild star fruit, and this of dragon's juice. All our juices are the same price.
I'll have some dragon's juice, please.
Excellent. And of you, young man, and he'll look to Lusk. What are you drinking? Lusk?
Red wine.
Red wine. And any particular red wine? There's a list of 116 wines. As I said, the cheapest was 120. Sorry, I remembered.
120 rubles?
For the cheapest wine, yes.
Holy shit.
You were warned it's pricey.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with it.
Okay. Cassandra.
It's just a
Goddamn.
glass, right?
Yes, it is just a glass. Cassandra, we'll try that again. What did you want? By all means, type your order if you wish. And Resnick. Resnick, you took a whiskey double, didn't you?
I certainly.
Yeah, okay, cool. I've got that down. Okay, and he will go off to get those drinks for you all. And whatever Cassandra wants. As you look over your food menu, the first dish on the menu is the appetizers. These range between 400 and 600 rubles. The mains are between 1,000 and 1,800. There are lavish meals of pheasant and steak and goose and lobster, etc. The starters of exotic sea fish, unusual vegetables. There is a little thing down to the side that says set menu, house favorites. And that will be 1,200 rubles for a 3-course meal. Assuming that each of you would like to participate in that, otherwise you will find yourselves incredibly broke.
I'm in it.
At this moment you see a
Sure. Yes,
small cat, Tabaxi, enter the restaurant. Them. And Samisk comes over to the table, pulls up a chair. I saw you enter. I hope you don't mind me joining you. How about if I say the dinner's on me?
Then by all means, pull up a chair.
Excellent. Waiter, we'll have a bottle of the Burgundois, please. And a glass of champagne for each of them. Thank you. I assume that you are not privy to what we are celebrating.
How was work?
That is one of the things we are celebrating. I was able to tame a previously untamable beast. A miniature dragon. He gave me a bonus, which we're currently spending.
Oh.
We are also celebrating the news that Yisna has brought. The Queen has been infiltrated. And there, we will end.
On that bombshell.
Yes, quite. On that bombshell, for those of you who don't watch Top Gear.
My wine too. One.
He's just ordered a bottle of the most expensive wine on the menu. It's
Okay,
approximately, it's 387,000 rubles.
Well, it's
That
not drinking
pet shop
retail.
pays so much.
It does.
Yeah, it's more who he sold the dragon to, but we'll find out. Okay. So, I come to our MVPs. At any point, Moon, when you can get your microphone working, please shout yours out loudly. Until that moment...
We're not being able to play the game because of his fucking connect.
Got it! We got the whole sentence! How ironic. MVP is, for Moon is not being able to play the game because of the whole sentence, but still getting a spider. I'll go. Your MVP.
I like toying with the registrar person. I've got to enjoy Jeff while I still can.
Good, I'm glad. Lavi?
I do like Jeff the baker extraordinaire.
I don't, but
Extra.
he's there now. He's here now and he's
kept
present.
on pushing for the extraordinaire part, which
I'm going to send him to Milton if he doesn't behave himself.
I want you guys to know, I was so fucking upset about my.
About that? He was so upset about that. He broke his phone. He's now speaking to us from underwater. Moan. I'm really sorry, but we ain't got nothing. Rico, your MVP. Yeah, that's unfortunately not happening.
I mean, Moon's like Elvish speak. It was pretty great. But yeah, no, it's got to be Jeff Hope.
Jeff Hope. We like Jeff Hope. Okay. And Kira.
Bodies in the fridge.
Bodies
That's
in
what
the
I like.
fridge. You like that?
Bodies in the fridge, and the fact that I can fill the fridge with more bodies.
I was just so disappointed that you asked in the break for a cold storage unit when I'd already thought of it, and I was like, nah, now he's gonna think I'll put it in for him. Ah, fucker! I had this all planned. It was behind a mirror. It goes. My note says. Like, come on! Let a man play! Yeah, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I've got a couple of MVPs. The Beast Bonds. I like your taking up of the Beast Bonds. I infuriatingly hated Jeff Hopes at Baker Extraordinaire, and for that reason is definitely an MVP. Losk's meeting with her parents and how well committed you were to the roleplay. That I really enjoyed that. Enjoyed might not be the right word. It was quite savage, but it was very deep and very well worth listening to and watching. Yeah, I think those are my general MVPs. And the fact that you walked into a restaurant where not one of you could afford to pay the bill. That was pretty cool. Luckily, I had planned and thrown that vintage ranch at you because Samus was always going to come in. So I'm glad that you bit on my hint. And yeah, we are going to conclude there. So...
Put us in a tome shop that costs so much money, then take us to a lavish restaurant. about to make us the Great Shadowvale wash dishes. That's crazy.
We'll be rating my favorite person on Earth. I can't understand you, Moon. I'm so sorry. I haven't got anything right now. So grab your sub raid and grab your raid call and come and show some love to Roxanne from Cassiopeia, Maverick from Drathnor Keep, and soon to be Lucas from Urxos. My husband, Josh Taylor. Send him some love. He's wonderful. He is currently playing Kingdom of Hearts. If you guys would like to say goodbye, it has been a pleasure playing.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much to Alabex321 for the follow. Welcome to the Duck Pond. May you enjoy your stay and keep the fuck away from my pond life. And Derek Page and Godnerd, Steve-O. Let's get a shout out for you guys. Thank you so much for the raids. I really appreciate you guys being here. So thank you so much for those of you who watched, and we will be back again tomorrow for Drathnor Keep in amongst our celebration stream. We will be doing about 10 hours of stupidity games, watching back old Twitch highlights as we celebrate 6 months of this channel. Thank you so much for being here, and we shall see you soon. Ciao.